for U.S. Senate in Maine. All right, he's going to try to defeat Collins and flip the seat from red to blue. I hope it doesn't happen, obviously. We'll see what happens. But I think it's absolutely just shocking. Just absolutely appalling and shocking that this guy won the Democratic primary. Now, I expected it to happen because I think that leftists are all pro-rape. So obviously they are going to get some guy who's allegedly some sexual deviant that cheated on his wife with like 6 women and shit. And yeah, I do think that the left is the Nazi party, the National Socialist Party, which is why they elected a guy with a Nazi tattoo. And yeah, I do think that the left hates our troops and our military, which is why they elected a guy that says that they hope the Taliban murders our soldiers. Yes, he has said and done all of those things. Yes, he actually is the guy that won the Democratic nomination. I think it's very clear at this point that the left is becoming an extremist, terrorist-supporting party in general, which is why it's so fantastic that Hassan has become the face. For some reason, yes, of course, Hassan supports Graham Plattner, and the reason why he supported Graham Plattner is really simple, actually.
Dude, are you unironically saying Jay
Mills is better than fucking Graham Plattner? Please, dude. He was pro-Hamas, okay? He was giving Hamas credit in 2014. Okay, what more do you fucking want?
He's like, yo, of course I love Graham Plattner.
Hybrids absolute woo.
Hey, what's up?
Sex slavers. Duh. Piker, ladies and gentlemen. So
I've actually been up for a while.
All things considered, they got the Hassan endorsement, but this is essentially what the Democratic Party is. You know, John Fetterman, Democrat, he's like, yo, dude, this is insane if the left actually elects him, which they did.
I'm the guy that I'm a Democrat, and I think we have fantastic
Hybrids absolute. I'm very early today.
In Ohio and Georgia.
Yeah, I
and
started
Texas
early.
And all their thing.
Not really, but okay.
I'll be the one honest Democrat to describe. Look at that visual on there. I mean, that dude was on Kick for a decade. I mean,
KIK, the platform that has an outstanding amount of child predators.
Did you know what Kick is? Just anyone watching, Google what Kick is. You know, they have serious underage problems with people that are in that, and they go there because it can be anonymous and they can do all kinds of depraved things. And I've watched that interview on MSN Now, and for that cream puff interview. And he asked P. Hustle, all those people that you were dropping all the dick pics and saying these things, they were all 18 or older, right? Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah, whatever. He didn't push back there. Well, hey, what's your protocol?
Hybrids absolute. What happened to the cat cam?
Check ID, how could you really be sure? that's the thing. So, and now just last year before he was going to run for the Senate, he was dropping all those kinds of pics and texts with a dozen women for there. So that's not redemption. That's a guy that got caught doing these things.
Bro, for the record, the reason why I'm showing this to you, this is a Democrat talking about Graham Plattner. Their party is actual just terrorist shit now.
Things.
Yeah, no doubt. And you proposed an interesting deal. You said, let's make a deal. These are your words. I'll tell P. Hustle I'll wear a suit every day.
I don't know. I'm trying to fix it.
And messages that he has had with a dozen women. Have you heard from him on this deal?
Yeah, well, no, of course, I never heard from P. Hustle. But what's strange with P. Hustle is back in April, he was doing an interview on...
Pretty weird, right? It is pretty weird, actually. It's insane. Now, Democrats in 2024, Trump is a Nazi abuser rapist. Democrats in 2026, vote for our Nazi abuser rapist. Holy
For some reason,
shit.
the camera's not working.
Like Jack Cocciarella over here, my fullest endorsement for Graham Plattner. That's nice. Anyway, he was kicked out of school for sexual assault. It's the whole team. It's absolutely amazing. They tried to end Hexet's nomination over an overtly and socially acceptable Christian tattoo by calling it Nazi symbolism and actively pretend that an actual Nazi tattoo is no big deal. This is insanity. It's complete insanity. Everything is a performance to these guys. This is a Jerusalem cross. This is a completely normal and acceptable tattoo. This is an actual Totenkopf Nazi death's head tattoo. All right. They endorsed him, and they said this tattoo was enough of a reason to get rid of Pete Hegseth. It is insane watching this happen, and in my opinion, this is just absolutely shocking. Informing voters of sexual assault rumors boosted Plattner's lead to 8.1% among voters 18 to 29. 75% support Plattner after hearing the allegations. I guess white liberal women really just all have rape fantasies, actually. It's insane. It's absolute insanity. So yeah, I guess that's why they keep voting to bring in migrants to rape them. I guess they just love rape or something. Well, what do you want me to say? What other conclusion
Chris
can I
Jeff
draw?
120
That's
first
the
message.
comparison
Yo
thread.
bro, I
Before
just
getting
came
too
across
deep
your
into the
stream and
chaos,
dropped a
free
follow
cash
before
was
heading out. I
promised to
respect
me
the hustle. I
3,000
actually know a
years
big
ago.
Twitch
One thing I
streamer with
recently added to my
250k
daily
who
routine
helps
is
streamers
using
grow
free
with real
cash
viewers,
for a few
active
minutes
chat
here
and
and there.
supporters who
If I'm gonna
donate
play
and sub
games, it's the
regularly.
times,
If you're
but I might
serious
as well
about
make
taking
some
your channel to
money
the
out
next
of it.
level, add
Free
him on
cash is a
Discord.
fun
Oh my
JJ,
God,
and
shut
tell
the
him,
fuck
son of a
up!
bitch, you opportunities
while
like
already
this
on your
don't
phone.
come around
This is a
often.
bot
And mind you,
message.
this
Get
is
the
not a
fuck
bot
off my
message.
goddamn stream.
Tasks and turn your bathroom break into an investment. I've been enjoying playing Call to Dragons on free cash, a high payout strategy-based building.
Typing
game.
a
You get
goddamn
instant
novel
payouts
into my
with a
chat.
really
What the
easy
fuck
process
is wrong
from
with you?
PayPal, Amazon, or Visa. There's already over $250 million paid out to over 60 million users worldwide. It's a win-win. They get someone to test out their games and fill out their surveys, and you get paid. Use the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to sign up and get a $10 bonus today. Now back to the chaos. Every individual sign up literally
I don't
supports
understand
the
why
channel.
it's not
So if you could click the link in the description and do the thing, that would be very appreciated.
Working.
Is Graham Plattner, a Maine oyster farmer and progressive Democrat Senate candidate. Plattner has been, shall we say, controversial. Soon after Plattner announced his run for Senate, it was reported by CNN's K-File
won.
that
I
Plattner
can't
was a
believe he won.
prolific Reddit user, and CNN featured
well,
some
what
of
did he
his
say
most
on Reddit?
problematic, now deleted tweets. I'm a vegetable-growing, psychedelics-taking socialist these days. Still got the guns,
And in
though.
such cases-
I don't trust the fascists to act politely. I got older and became a communist. I did used to love America, or at least the idea of it. These days, I'm pretty disgusted by it all.
This guy is such a perfect face for the Democrat Party right now. An actual pro-Hamas, Nazi guy who hates our country and our military. It's just so perfect. Such a fantastic way to describe the left.
And in a thread titled, White People Aren't as Racist
There we
or
go.
Stupid as Trump.
There we
Plattner
go.
wrote, living in white rural America, I'm afraid to tell you, they actually
It's,
are. When CNN asked him about the comment, Plattner replied,
blurry
I'm
as
also
shit,
a white
but-
guy, and I don't think I'm racist. Ah, the classic, I'm one of the good ones defense. He's basically saying, my voters are racist hillbillies, but not me, the enlightened oyster farmer who takes shrooms.
That's right.
The following day, the Washington Post reported about even more deleted Reddit tweets, including some that downplayed sexual assault concerns. That day, Genevieve McDonald, Plattner's political director, resigned, and in her resignation letter said that his online comments are not words or values I can stand behind in a candidate for the United States Senate.
But it turns out the leftists are just like actual terrorists these days, so they love him anyway. Isn't that awesome?
And then 3 days later, Axios reported that Plattner wrote in 2020 that he had an Antifa super soldier label on his armor, likely a reference to tactical gear like he used in the military. Plattner said in a statement, "This was a dumb joke, like most of my old Reddit posts. He's just a goofy little prankster. Just a silly little guy casually LARPing as a
He's just a
militant
funny,
extremist
silly
in
guy.
tactical body armor." Hilarious.
And so you regret those past posts?
Oh, of course. I mean, I've said that. I don't know how many. Yes, deeply.
The only thing he deeply regrets about his past posts
Is that he was
are that they're
caught.
affecting his Senate campaign. And then it was reported that a tattoo on Graham Plattner's chest was a Nazi Totenkopf.
Bro.
A tattoo on his chest that resembled Nazi imagery.
Ah, the classic political pipeline. One day, you're apologizing for calling your voters racist, and then 3 days later, you're explaining why you have the emblem of the SS tattooed on your chest. Tale as old as time, really.
We did what Marines on Liberty do, and we decided to go get a tattoo. And we went to a tattoo parlor in Split, Croatia, and we chose a terrifying-looking skull and crossbones off the wall because
Terrifying looking. It was a literal Nazi death head tattoo.
we were Marines, and you know, skulls and crossbones are a pretty standard military thing. We got wind that in the opposition research, somebody was shopping the idea that I was a secret Nazi with a hidden Nazi tattoo.
No, it was a very out in the open, basic Nazi tattoo, actually.
And I can honestly say that if I was trying to hide it, I've not been doing a very good job for the past 18 years.
In response, Genevieve McDonald wrote on Facebook, "He's not an idiot, he's a military history buff. Maybe he didn't know it when he got it, but he got it years ago, and he should have had it covered up because he knows damn well what it means." Wait, you're telling me that the guy who spent multiple combat tours in the military and reads history books for fun just accidentally picked the emblem of the most notorious death squad of the 20th century off a flat sheet? Makes sense to me. What's your problem?
Is this not absolutely
Sarah Ioala, good morning,
Guys that have been
Mr.
calling
Logan.
every single
Good
right-wing
morning.
guy a Nazi? every single one of them, they celebrate Charlie Kirk's murder because, well, he was a Nazi, so it's good he's dead. And that is basically the public sentiment on the left these days. They'll elect an actual Nazi. You can't make this up. We're actually living in clown world. None of their words mean anything. They just want you dead, and they don't care how they actually do that.
Nazi-style tattoo. It is the tattoo of concentration camp guards. It is the very worst tattoo you can get if you are getting anything Nazi, and that's a pretty high bar there.
So between the extremely problematic posts and the tattoo, Democrats hold their support for Graham Plattner. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Democrats are terrible.
You said yesterday you're still supporting him. Why?
I'm not overly impressed by a squad of media running around saying, "What do you think about the tattoo on Graham Plattner's chest?" Between you and me, there might be one or two more important issues.
Which is weird because back in 2017, when Democrats were pushing the very fine people hoax, Bernie Sanders said the following.
When you have a president commenting on a march by Nazis and white supremacists, who then declares, well, there are nice people on both sides. Mr. President, there are no nice Nazis.
Hybrids absolute. Oh, you fixed camera.
Yeah.
They don't call you a Nazi because they think you're a Nazi. They call you a Nazi so they could justify your death, all right? Evidence is they have an actual Nazi that they're all promoting. It's crazy.
One thing that the modern Democrat Party loves more than calling everyone they disagree with a Nazi, it's circling the wagons to protect a guy with an actual Nazi tattoo in an attempt to capture a Senate seat.
Look, Graham clearly made a mistake, and I've been on CNN saying that what I appreciated about him is that he owned.
He got a permanent Nazi.
Sarah Ioala, good morning,
body.
everyone. At another beautiful day, let go for the
he took
partner.
Responsibility for it, and I don't think that that's
Sarah Ioala, how is the cats doing?
Yeah.
Buddy's sleeping right here.
I would agree with you totally, bro.
Shoujo was crazy a little while ago.
And I'm sure the public will hear about them.
My genuine belief here is that voters in
bathroom
Maine right
playing
now are
in the
concerned
sun.
about the fact
That's
that they
right.
can't afford health care, they can't afford housing. We have the most corrupt White House in American
She
history.
hangs out in the bathroom a lot, and when it's hot, she lays in the bathtub.
Crazy watching these side by side. It is absolutely crazy watching these side by side. Oh my God.
I think he's a Nazi for what it's worth. I think he was a drunk Marine in Croatia, and when you walk into a tattoo parlor there, and the time period he was there, basically anything you picked off the wall would have been problematic. And no, I don't love everything he's ever posted on Reddit, but I think people are allowed to grow and change. And Mainers seem to have accepted that he has changed.
I mean, it's allowed to grow and change. Anyway, Donald Trump did a thing I don't like 50 years ago. We have to kill him now. But this guy who's literally sexting with women while married, cheating on his wife, and having Nazi tattoos and supporting terrorist organizations, that guy's awesome.
For a symbol like this, is it not irrelevant when an election is timed as to whether or not that's okay?
No, look, this is all very relevant stuff, but it's relevant to the voters who are voting.
The Nazi tattoo was something that he owned up to. He said it was a mistake. He was did it when he was signing up.
Fucking third worlder in our government is coming out here to support the guy that supports terrorist organizations and is a Nazi. You know, I'm starting to think that actually they don't care about Nazism. They just love terrorism.
Up to serve this country and the military. They learn from it. And the question is, are we going to believe in redemption?
I don't remember.
And people being.
We believe in redemption, says the guy that supports Trump getting fucking murdered and shit, allegedly. Dude, this guy openly supports terrorist organizations. What are we doing?
Flawed and then having a chance to move on.
Yeah, look, he's clearly not the perfect person or the perfect candidate. He's himself acknowledged that he's kind of he's a flawed person, and he's been very open about working on that.
He's flawed. Like, he's a Nazi that supports terrorist organizations. He's flawed.
Working on it, guys. I mean, who needs a seasoned legislator when you can use a seat in the United States Senate as a tax-funded rehabilitation program? But hey, who needs moral standards when you have a tie-breaking vote to secure? Principles are expensive, but holding power, that's priceless. So while most Democrats shrugged over the revelations about the posts and the tattoo, some immediately broke ranks and called out the insanity.
All right.
Here's Massachusetts Congressman Jake Auchincloss.
I've been clear about Graham Plattner. I find that tattoo and his commentary about it to be personally disqualifying. I hope Maine voters agree with me. I think it would be a mistake for the Democratic Party to think that Graham Plattner's brand of the Democratic Party is what wins us durable majorities throughout this country.
Massachusetts Congressman Jake Auchincloss.
It's a miracle his own party didn't censure him on the spot for letting a pesky little thing like principles get in the way of a Senate seat. And Auchincloss wasn't the only one pointing out the absolute insanity of the situation.
When I was growing up, if someone had a clear Nazi tattoo on them, you probably could conclude that there's a Nazi sympathizer.
Can you even imagine if Trump had like a Nazi tattoo? Can you even imagine? Can you even imagine? They called like Charlie Kirk a Nazi. They call Trump a Nazi. They still do. And their reasoning is like, he wants to close the border. He actually wants a country with borders. I guess that makes you a Nazi.
How? Yeah, at some point, you're going to continue to
Their words mean nothing. You can never trust them ever.
to defend that or dismiss that.
I mean, he has said that these does not represent him. It was a different time in his life.
I know, I'm so sorry. And now he stopped acknowledging those things.
But in 2026, things work differently. And by late May, Plattner was leading his fellow Democrat candidates by 66 points. You couldn't blame Plattner for feeling invincible.
Are there other skeletons from your past that still may emerge in this race?
No.
Are you sure about that?
No, there's not anything else coming. That's why they led with what they had.
They led with what they had. Oh, Graham, sweet, innocent communist Graham. That's not how opposition research works. And as Graham would soon find out, political opponents don't release all of the bad news at once. You like to stagger it for maximum damage. On May 30th, the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal reported that the Plattner campaign had been warned about the existence of texts between Graham Plattner and multiple women. The New York Times reported Mr. Plattner's wife, Amy Gertner, told a senior campaign aide that he had been exchanging sexual messages with multiple other women. The Wall Street Journal writes, Amy Gertner, who married Plattner in 2023, told the campaign about messages she had found early in their marriage in the spring of 2025. Early in their marriage? They've only been married since November 2023. For clarity, Plattner's wife only found these texts a year ago. Amy Gertner, concerned that her husband's behavior could become a political liability, had told Genevieve McDonald, the Plattner campaign's now former political director, about the texts.
Dude, I love how the left is just a terrorist party. What are we supposed to do? Like, how can I possibly have any other conclusion? Watching all the Graham Plattner, and this is just one fucking guy. Like, he was a nobody, and everyone came out to support him. Just like, oh, he's really brave about supporting terrorists, man. We really like that. See, we only support terrorists silently, but this guy actually openly supports terrorists, which is very cool.
Presumably, she's the one that leaked the story to the Times and the Journal.
Presumably.
Miss McDonald said Miss Gertner told her that her husband had been exchanging sexual messages with as many as a dozen women.
The left, they just love womanizers. They love it. They're pro-rape. It's the pro-rape party. It's the pro-rape and adultery party. They just love that shit. Anything that in the Bible it says is a sin, the left is like, fuck that. Add it to the LGBT rainbow. Let's do it. That's right. We'll call it the Pride Movement, named after the greatest sin. That's right. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be awesome, actually. That's the entire leftist movement. They read the Bible, and then they take out all the sins, and then they basically turn that into their book of commandments. It's almost like they're worshiping the wrong guy.
Aides ultimately decided the texts were a private matter that was being...
It was a private matter of cheating on his wife. He's probably a wonderful guy.
...handled by the couple in marriage counseling. Ah, yes, it's a private matter. Because when a major candidate for the highest legislative body in the country is allegedly lurking on encrypted apps, messaging a dozen different women while newly married, that's not a character flaw. It's just a private scheduling conflict.
I find it really shameful that there's a group...
And then he made his wife release an apology video. Saying, I forgive my husband for abusing me and cheating on me, and so my husband is a flawed person. The fact that he made his wife release this video is fucking abominable.
Of media outlets and people who are willing to spread gossip, instead of talking about real issues that Graham is running on.
Graham Plattner, he's doing his absolute best to make sure that Hamas could keep killing Jews, and like you're all stopping that mission by worrying about little things like the fact that he has a Nazi tattoo. Probably has nothing to do with Jews. You know, I'm starting to think that Graham Plattner might not like Jews. He supports Nazis and Hamas. It's like, what's the through line there, you know?
Like
I'm starting to wonder.
And education and childcare. I think it's shameful behavior to spend time and energy and resources on negative ads and negative stories.
Don't think about the negative. Only think about voting for Graham Plattner.
Graham, when all he's trying to do is improve the lives of people who work for a living.
You have to marvel at the sheer level of political gymnastics on display here. The wife, who is the exact person who originally flagged the text to the campaign because she was worried that they were a liability, is now on television blasting the media for reporting on the exact thing that she was trying to hide.
I don't know, I'm thinking Stockholm Syndrome?
Twice if you need help, Amy.
It's no surprise
I think she's in danger. I'm not gonna lie, I think she's in danger.
to me that the established media outlets are just going to run gossip instead of wanting to talk about
Gossip, like him supporting terrorist organizations, for example? Maybe.
the things that actually matter in this race. These people are going to try to make this race about anything but what it's supposed to be about, which is...
I don't want people in my government that support terrorist organizations to be in the government. Is that like a little thing? Like, is it a little thing, man?
Policy. And so they're going to just do gossip instead.
Yes, let's get back to discussing policy. Specifically your policy of using encrypted messaging apps to sext half a dozen women while your newlywed wife is in the room.
But the stories are true, right? About the text.
No, this is the amazing part. The Wall Street Journal, New York Times ran stories without any evidence besides the gossip from a former staffer. I'm sorry.
So are they not true, or are they true?
That's frankly journalistic malpractice.
But so is it true, or is it not true? Notice how he never denies it.
A lie. Genevieve McDonald told the Times that Plattner was exchanging messages with as many as a dozen women, while a current Plattner campaign official told the New York Times that Mr. Plattner had been communicating with up to 6 women. It's a distinction without a difference. Furthermore, the Wall Street Journal verified that Plattner also has an active account on Kik, a popular private messaging app. Plattner's profile shows a mirror selfie of him shirtless with a towel wrapped around his waist. Many of his tattoos are clearly visible in the picture. And FYI, Kik is a messaging platform that has been widely used for spicy encounters. Nothing screams distinguished future United States Senator.
Often with children, by the way.
Quite like running a digital thirst trap on an app, primarily known for anonymous hookups and sketchy body counts. But I'm sure that he was only using the app to discuss sustainable oyster farming infrastructure with local constituents.
Yeah.
And now we've learned that the Democratic candidate Graham Plattner sent sexually explicit texts to many women who were not his wife, and obviously he's already admitted to having covered up a Nazi-linked tattoo. So, I mean, do you think he's fit? Do you worry about Graham Plattner? Are you okay with him because he's a Democrat?
Well, I'm going to wait to learn more about these recent allegations involving his texting other women. I'm going to wait until I know more about what just came out within the last 24 or 48 hours.
I'm not sure that candidate flaws matter as much as they used to.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't followed the minute by minute of what's happened.
Live in the same reality with these people? I mean, these people think men could be women, so they're obviously retarded. But, like, I don't want to be that guy. But, like, do they even believe the words they say at this point? Or does half the country just want to destroy us by any means necessary?
Over the last few days, but I do think there's a difference. I mean, Plattner has admitted that he's made big mistakes.
So if Trump admits he makes mistakes, do you think the media is going to stop attacking him for literally everything?
Talked pretty openly about them. You know, on the older ones that I know more about, like the tattoo or some of the things he posted online, and he said, listen, I was in a really bad place in my life. I regret it.
Far be it for me to look inside the complexities of people's marriages. This is between Graham and his wife, and I'm glad to hear that seems like...
Every single one of these people was shitting on Trump for this shit. Like, and Trump didn't do nearly as bad as Graham Plattner. Dude, 0 principles. It's insane. Watching the mask fall off every day. I love how they're just literally hitching their wagon to terrorist-supporting Nazis, communists. Holy fuck.
Like they are, you know, they're on a good path forward, and I just wish them the best as a couple.
I don't know him and don't know him at all well, but I'm going to give him a measure of grace and wait until I get a chance to hear more about the details of all these different allegations.
Plattner had a tattoo with Nazi origins that he later covered up after that came out. Auchincloss said that Plattner's tattoo and his commentary about it were disqualifying.
In 18 years, nobody ever said, like, hey, dude, what's with the giant Nazi tattoo on your chest?
Worried about Graham Plattner's marriage and his texts. Meanwhile, we are not talking about why one person in America owns more wealth than the bottom 53%. How often do
a guy worked really hard and made a lot of money, and a lot of retards do not want to get jobs. So yeah, I would elect a Nazi terrorist. Remember when Bernie Sanders cared about millionaires, and now he doesn't anymore because now he's a millionaire, so now he only cares about billionaires? Isn't that weird?
We discussed that on CNN.
Classic Bernie. The literal sky could be falling, and he would still find a way to pivot back to his favorite stump speech.
But you feel comfortable with his
the way he has done it?
The contrast in Maine is pretty clear, right? You have somebody that has served his country, put his life on the line for it, served his community, has made mistakes in his life, has been open about that, running against somebody who is enabling the most corrupt and immoral administration in the history of this country.
You know, what is disqualifying is having a senator in Maine who just does Donald Trump's bidding. But I think the single...
That's right. It's much worse to be a Trump supporter than to be a serial cheater, terrorist-supporting communist, if you're on the left. I'm really glad we're getting our ducks in a row. Glad we're understanding the order of magnitude behind different moral decisions on the left.
Disqualifying person in this race is Susan Collins. And given the energy behind Plattner's campaign, it sounds like a lot of Mainers agree with that assessment.
But are you comfortable having a potential colleague with a Nazi tattoo that he knew was a Nazi tattoo in 2019, took him years afterward to get rid of it?
Casey, I'm just going to answer the same way I just answered you. Anything I say is going to be played somewhere in Maine. Maine voters need to make this call. Once they do make the call, I'm sure I'm going to have some things to say.
So do what it takes to elect Democrats.
From my standpoint, I will work with whoever the people of Maine elect, but I hope that they elect somebody who's going to stand up to this president, work with me to be able to fight back against.
The only thing that matters, the revolution. The revolution is the only thing that matters. They claim they care about democracy. If Trump gets democratically elected, he wants to do it in democratically elected. We will elect Nazis and terrorists because the revolution will be televised.
All these things. That you can erase, you can eliminate a tattoo, you can erase a tattoo, you can't remove a Supreme Court. And that's kind of the choice that people have.
You're standing behind Graham Plattner. Beat Susan Collins and take back the Senate. I endorsed Graham Plattner. We're going to take back, we're going to beat.
Wow. Trump was right when he said that Chuck Schumer wasn't Jewish, he was Palestinian. Damn! Chuck Schumer, my guy, supporting a pro-Hamas Nazi now. Wow.
Susan Collins and take back
These people have zero morals.
Senate. Thank you.
And there you have it from the Senate Majority Leader himself, the author of Anti-Semitism in America.
No way he wrote a book like that. No shot. Mr. Anti-Semitism in America endorsed a Nazi Hamas supporter. Holy shit.
Turns out the principles are a luxury only for people who aren't trying to hold on to power. But my favorite take is from Sunny Hoskins, who absolutely nails it.
We need to get a liberal woman's opinion on this immediately.
An airtight case for why this guy is unfit for society, let alone the Senate.
He's also made racist remarks against African Americans. So he's a cheater. He's an anti-Semite because the fact that he had that tattoo for 20 years and didn't know what it was.
And supports Hamas. Why does everyone seem to think that just supporting terrorists is cool now on the left?
Is a lie. So he's a liar, a racist, and anti-Semite. He's a homophobe. So he's all the things. And character does matter. But we have someone that has almost unbridled power in the world.
Oh my fucking God, dude! He's racist and he's misogynistic and he cheats and he might be an abuser and he's anti-Semitic and he's homophobic and he supports terrorists. But Trump is pretty orange. I've noticed his orangeness.
White House at this point. There are no checks and balances. And the only way
what
that
are
we
even talking? Dude, I wish Donald Trump was the guy that the left thinks he is. I wish Donald Trump was the guy that was actually, you know, like, oh, they're terrorists over there in Iran, we're going to kill all of them. And Trump is going to be like, oh, they're illegals in the country, we're going to deport all of them. You know, I really wish Donald Trump was the guy that the left thinks he is.
Can maybe bring a bit of our democracy back is by having a Congress that functions and that has the checks and balances. And I do think one of the only ways is to win that seat in Maine.
Translation?
Well,
Vote
maybe
blue,
you should
no
try
matter who.
Shamway.
Be sure to remember that clip the next time a Democrat tries to lecture you about the moral high ground. And as it turns out, any moral high ground that the Democrats think they have just got a little shakier. A couple of days after the texting revelations, the New York Times published this article titled, "Several Women Who Dated Graham Plattner Recall Unsettling Behavior."
Pack,
While
it's a
several
deal.
women described Plattner
Disappoint
as
me,
a fun and caring
you'll
partner,
find yourself on
saying
the
they felt safe with
wrong
him,
end of a rope.
others did not. In extensive conversations over the last 2 months, 3 other women who had been romantically involved with Mr. Plattner offered a far more complicated assessment, describing volatile and toxic relationships that were unsettling and at times emotionally wrenching.
The Times writes, quote, Mr. Plattner could be rough with her, Ms. Fifield said, particularly when they were drinking, leaving her shaken and sometimes afraid. She would quickly note that he never hit me, he never punched me, but during one argument, she recalled he twisted her arm behind her back, shoved her into a bedroom, and held the door closed from the other side so she couldn't get out, telling her to remain there until she was calm.
Did that happen?
No, it did not.
I'm sure if Graham Plattner told me that the sky was blue, I'd have to go outside to double check. Anyway, that's it regarding
What an absolute fucking nightmare. And yeah, so after he was accused of raping lots of people, his approval rating went up, and he actually won his nomination. That's pretty incredible. That's the left. If you are a leftist, you are either evil or retarded. There's no other option. Understand exactly what your party is. Hopefully he'll get slaughtered by the Republican. Stop the Nazi takeover of America, literally. Like, literally. This is insane. Dude, our country needs a lot of help. It really does. But do not black pill, because we are moving in the right direction. Young men are getting really, really radicalized on this shit. And with social media and stuff, the women that have been importing all these rapists and shit into our country are slowly starting to realize that actually that's not great. The people that hate our country are literally breeding themselves out of existence. Heartbreaking as that is, because nothing radicalizes a liberal woman like a husband and children that they actually don't want to get raped. Never black pill. This infinite degeneracy on the left, it will come back to bite them.
I haven't
We will
seen a
save our
zombie
country.
in a
We
while.
just have to elect strong, young men with principles behind them that actually want to save our country. Slowly but surely, we will weed out this absolutely diabolical
check.
backstabbing Republican Party and replace it with real radicals that make real differences, and the left will get absolutely destroyed. As more and more people wake up and realize that it is a self-destructive group and cesspool of terror, lies, and cringe, because this shit might sound cool at the moment, but it has
my
an
God.
expiration date. Everyone in England is
Enemy
rising up
spawning's
because they
on.
actually really don't like the Islamification of their country.
I just haven't seen
and
one in a
people are
while.
gonna
That's
start to
weird.
notice really soon.
That's really, really weird.
I don't even really know how to say this without feeling like I'm living in like some kind of like weird dystopia. But now your refrigerator that you've paid thousands of dollars for is going to be serving you ads. That's right. That's right. You're getting ads for being in for buying a refrigerator.
Can we talk about why there are ads on my Netflix that I pay for or my Prime? Like, excuse me.
Because you pay for it.
Because you're paying for it. You just answered your own question. Why are they?
Carmelo Anthony was just found guilty of murdering Austin Metcalf and was sentenced to 35 years in prison. But already, people are seemingly calling for race riots, as CNN immediately frames
By the way, were there any race riots over Carmelo Anthony? No, because everybody knew he was guilty. We all knew this, right? And like, I think that the entire world is fatigued from this. They're tired of this. They're tired of race bullshit. They're tired of tribalism. They're just sick of it. And also, another reason is that I feel like if they had a riot, I've got a good feeling on what would happen. And it would not be like 2020, I'll tell you that. Governor, yeah, Greg Abbott would have sent in the National Guard, bro. Like, he would have shut that shit down in 45 minutes.
verdict as racist.
Carmelo Anthony said, well, push me. See what happens then. And he pushed him, and that is
now
when
he's in jail for 35 years.
Carmelo Anthony rummaged through his bag, took out a knife, and the jury has determined that when that knife went into the chest of the victim, Austin Metcalf, that was murder.
If it was up to CNN, you'd think an inanimate object just magically ended Austin's life, as they desperately try to frame this as anything other than murder.
He had a knife. We don't know why he had a knife. He did not take the stand. This was a self-defense case. And what was in Carmelo Anthony's head...
He had a knife to stab somebody. Duh. What are you, fucking retarded? Obviously.
So important because if he subjectively believed that he was going to be killed or seriously bodily injured by Austin Metcalf, who is the victim now, then he had a right to take out a knife.
Saying Austin, who is the victim now, is insanely evil phrasing. He's the only victim. He's the only one not with us now because of what Carmelo Anthony admittedly did. It's the simplest of cases, unless your network is full of racists.
Then he had a right to take out a knife.
A black man who has now been charged with murder of a young white man. Anthony was in this tent. He was asked to leave. He was being confronted and in some ways intimidated, provoked by larger athletes, and he was fearful of his life, and he pulled out that knife.
If he was so fearful, why didn't he simply leave the tent as requested? But
Wait, what do you mean you could just leave? Wait, no, but I have to flex on them. I can't let them feel like I'm not in control. I can't let my ego get hurt. Bro, I gotta stab somebody. No, I can't walk away. This is a perfectly good time to throw away your life.
no, they're just desperate to frame the murderer as the bigger victim. The only thing worse than CNN was Court TV.
Questioning the jury, I asked him, how did you reach your verdict? How did you reach it so quickly? What happened? It was a 4-inch knife. He used it one time. He
only used the knife once.
I'm not saying that it was right, but what are you doing? How did you get this verdict? I'm enraged right now. This is very upsetting.
Even stooping to defenses previously only seen.
I haven't even seen these. These are new.
Racist memes.
My child has deep regret. My family has deep regret. He is a scholar. He has the opportunity to turn his life around. She needed to be talking about her son in the future to get them to see who he could be outside of this.
Yeah, he could stab somebody else. Imagine his potential. He could stab potentially 3 or 4 or 5 people even. Fuck, he could shoot him. Right? I mean, the sky's the limit. He could kill way more people.
She was not prepped and ready for that.
Suggesting you can imprison my son, he's a future scholar, just proves you're willing to overlook murder based solely on race. We simply can't reason with this level of weapons-grade stupidity, but sadly, there's actually activists listening to this logic. After the guilty verdict, chanting, say his name, as if Carmelo was the victim.
This is the reason why I think we should publicly execute him. This is the exact reason. Is that you gotta show these people that the way that you're acting and everything, like you're not in control. You're not in control. You're never gonna be in control. And it's better that way. This is exactly the reason why I think we should do it. They're fucking racist. Massively fucking racist.
Singing and jumping around, attempting to antagonize the other side.
Gotten so bad, Because like at a certain point, like I think that there's a lot of people that try to calm these people down. I think go ahead and crash out. Go ahead and crash out. We're gonna send in the National Guard. We're gonna send in the National Guard. You get violent, they're gonna shoot you. You learn how to fucking behave. Learn how to act right. Like I'm so tired of this shit. I think everybody's tired of this. Really, like I mean, it's a waste of time. Yeah. Like if that's not enough, send in the military. Deal with this shit.
But you're not gonna do
act right
with a man. That's weak. That's weak.
Now, luckily, this guy was eventually arrested, but he wasn't the only one getting confrontational.
Anytime a white man or a white child go and put their hands aggressively on anybody and something like this occurs, it's self-defense. You put your hand on me and see how I respond.
Okay, well then you're gonna be in jail too, bitch. You gotta learn how to act. This is basically like inside, like this is a cultural thing, is that inside of certain cultures, insulting a person's like honor or like disrespecting them is seen as grounds for killing them. Like you have the justification now, if you've been disrespected, you now are allowed to be violent and you can kill somebody. Now, the solution to that is that you put everybody that thinks like that in jail. You just put all of them in jail. That's it, and then you don't have any more problems. But there's a very, very small subset of people that think this way and then behave this way. This is cross culture. It's not exclusive to black people. It happens all around the world.
In what world would anybody think?
But I will say it is generally a massively low IQ thing, right? Only retards think like this.
I was for putting violent murderers in prison until his angry supporters got in my face, basically suggesting something similar to me. If anything, it just proves how unfixable this perpetual victim mentality really is.
It's actually extremely fixable. The reason why it's not being fixed is because we tolerate this outburst and these outbursts like a child, right? It's almost like the bigotry of low expectations that we don't immediately call this out for exactly what it is. And I think the reason why is that, you know, there's some kind of guilt to it or something else. And I don't know, like, I can't speak for everybody, right? But, like, I am certainly
Hybrids
not guilty
absolute.
for this,
How's
right?
the surviving
I don't feel
going?
guilty at all about
Going
this.
all right.
And I think that really, like, any type
wow,
of this
I'm going
behavior
really
should
far
not be
underground.
tolerated.
I kind of don't like
I
it.
already know. Even covering this story as moderately as possible,
An
I'm
underground
definitely going
church.
to receive
I've never seen this
threats
before.
in my DMs by idiots that think they're anonymous, as some people are just seemingly evil.
What do you want us to do? What do you want us to do?
Stop
at this
stabbing
point?
people.
What? I'm
Stop
lost. I don't know what to do.
stabbing people
I
with
got
knives.
5 boys. I don't know what. I ain't got nothing to tell them no more. You can't walk away no more.
You can't walk. You can't walk away. You have to preserve your honor.
Now, obviously, the answer is just tell your kids not to commit murder. But in the sea of reasonable responses to this is, how does she have 5 kids but isn't working on a Tuesday afternoon?
It's because this entire, like, there is a massive underclass population of people. This is in America. It's in every Western country that we effectively fund their existence. It's so annoying. We pay for these people to be alive. We pay for their kids to be alive. If we cut off their funding, they would die. That's the reality.
As for several days, she's been out there proudly broadcasting her racism.
If evidence does come out that Carmelo was not in fact fighting for his life when he stabbed and killed Austin Metcalf, do you think that the black community will accept that?
If evidence shows that he did not, no, we're gonna stand by ours regardless. They stand by theirs.
Once again proving you can't reason with this. Why waste your energy explaining that murder is evil when essentially her whole argument is
Exactly why you need the public execution. It's exactly why you need it. Because people like that know they don't listen and they don't understand anything other than a show of force. You have to do it.
Is bigotry. The problem being,
Hybrids
the
absolute.
BLM
Buddy looks
riots
comfy.
proved she's not alone in this.
Oh yeah, he's in the tower. I was wondering where he went.
Most people don't even know
Why do we protect black criminals? Oh my, 2020 was not real.
That this entire movement openly endorses black criminals, believing they're basically incapable of not committing murder. It's insane.
We're the racist ones, though.
Racist to think this, but they somehow not only believe it, but crowdfund over $600,000.
It's actually fucked up, bro. Like, somebody in my chat goes, I'm black. I used to think Uncle Ruckus was a caricature until I kept dealing with these types of people. Now I see myself becoming Uncle Ruckus in my beliefs. Welcome to White Heaven. Oh my god.
To a guy found guilty of murder, openly admitting they won't spend it on his defense, but other stuff for the family. Because being on trial for the murder you committed is injustice. It's actually scary to think a family can make over $500,000 because some people see a black student stabbing a white student and immediately rush to send him money. As simply put, one side wants to see justice, while the other is just openly racist, complaining about the racial makeup of the jury.
This is a racist country. We're in a racist
state. This is a racist court.
If we had to buy her a plane ticket to wherever the hell she wanted to go back to, we'd have to get 2.
There ain't nothing else to talk about.
I have to get 2 plane tickets. Yeah, you got
When
it.
there's a white boy been before an all-black jury. Tell us, media. Tell us, white folks. When there's a white boy been before an all-black jury. Never.
How's it murder?
It's
Is he okay?
But the Black Panthers weren't the only ones angry over this.
That a black boy was allowed.
It's crazy how powerful this would have been 10 years ago, and now literally nobody gives a shit. And I think one of the reasons why they don't go out and riot now is because they know that they would just literally send in the National Guard and suppress them and just totally shut them down, and nobody would care. I think people, like, after seeing so many of these body cam videos, after seeing, like, you know, how many of these, like, oh my God, you know, an innocent guy was killed by a police officer, and then you see him running at the police officer with a knife. You know, it's just like and it makes me wonder, like, how many of those instances before we had body cams were the same thing, but it just got turned into something that it wasn't by the media. I think probably a lot.
One black soul on a jury. An all white jury.
As yes, that does seem like a concern we should at least consider, until you read exactly why there were no black jurors. As many of the dismissed potential jurors stated they couldn't imagine putting a brother in jail, saying they can't make a decision about somebody so young. One mistake doesn't make you a bad person, and
yeah, it does.
I don't feel comfortable finding an African American male
All right, in that case,
as none of those
how
jurors are
many
able to give an unbiased
how
judgment
many
on the case.
mistakes
And
make
that's
you a
right.
bad person?
That's right, guys.
How many? How many people do I have to
should immediately be
stab?
dismissed from the jury, but instead of blaming those
Or
individual
does
jurors for their
Carmelo
bias,
Anthony have to
they
stab
then
before he
blame
becomes a bad
racism.
person?
As plainly put, placing racists on the jury is their version of justice. As when a guy holds a sign showing Irina Zarutska, someone couldn't help but punch him.
And then he immediately hides behind a woman. You went and you punched this guy. Like, this dude looks like he could be like a college football player or like an athlete. And you look like the human
Hybrids
version of a
absolute,
virus.
you want a spark.
And you're gonna go and do this, and you go hide
Yeah,
behind a woman.
might as well.
Like a little weasel. Looks like a little weasel.
There was absolutely
Ooh, my
no
back.
reason for that,
Oh.
other than to advertise you have zero self-control, and nobody will be surprised when you too are tried for a violent crime. But then insanely admitting they wish Carmelo killed Austin's twin brother as well.
That should both should have been dead. The both brothers. Both of them should have been dead. You ask me?
Yep. See, y'all need to see this. Y'all really need to see this. This is the problem you got going on. Yeah. Was that English? They were trying to be.
They wish Carmelo killed Austin's twin brother as well.
That should both should have been dead. Both of them should have been dead. You ask me?
It's sad to see society slip this far, where we'd like to hear what the other side has to say, but literally nothing can be gained listening to anybody who not only wants to free someone guilty of murder based solely on race, but wishes they murdered more innocent kids based solely on race. So if you appreciate
because they're psycho-racist. That's the reason why. Super simple.
my concise, sometimes lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is
Yes,
today's
super
reality,
simple.
hopefully I've earned your subscription
Really easy to
and you'll
understand.
subscribe to Decoy. Damn.
I like this guy a lot. I've watched his videos for a while. He also streams on Twitch too. I'll give you guys a link and make sure to give him a sub. Oh, he recently had 1 million subscribers. Holy shit, I didn't even notice that. Decoy voice, yeah, there it is. And good news. And we gotta go into this one too as well. But you know, I'm gonna look maybe I'll look at that one tomorrow. But right now we will look at this. Right? Aren't there updates on the Iran war? Nah, there's no updates. Like you know, my perspective. Why do you think the Carmel defenders keep being so loud despite when asking why they're wrong? The woman admitted to doubling down too, which is insane because they're just morons, bro. Like they're just idiots. Like there's no reason to even take them to. The thing is, like, you're trying to figure out, like, why is a person doing this? Like, they're stupid. That's why. That's literally the entire it's just tribal stupidity. There's no fine print. There's no hidden meaning. There's no second goal. There's nothing other than that. It is just plain and simple, easy to understand tribal mentality. So, yeah, why is a retard dumb? Exactly. Yeah, why do you have a vision? Why is stupid? Yeah, exactly. And too stupid to understand reason? Yeah, definitely. And I don't know why people put up with this shit at all. But I am glad to see that now more people on Twitter are now able, because, like, this is the first one of these, like, big issues like this. Maybe not the first one, but it's one of the biggest ones so far, where, like, people really get to see this bias here. And I think that it's important to keep this bias in mind in the future, right? Because this is what these people do. And even the most heinous, evil, awful, terrible things for literally no reason. The video game crash. I think this is true. A lot less people are investing into gaming.
Video games as a whole may not be crashing, but perhaps the types of games that lots of us love are experiencing a bit of a crash. Let me explain. I'm going to start with John and Brenda Romero. They were obviously there for the game crash of the 80s. They've had ups and downs, so whenever they said that the current state of the industry is, to quote, definitely crashier than back in the infamous 1980s crash, it's probably time to listen. And not just because they're big legacy names and you might think about Doom or something. No, it's also because they literally run a game studio today. It's a few hours down the road from me in Galway, which is to say they're in the real world. And they're speaking to a real problem that you'll hear talked about in game industry circles, that you'll hear be talked about between devs.
What do it be?
But it hasn't really made it out to the public. But make no mistake, this game crash is impacting you, and scrappy indie devs are amazing, but they're not yet the solution. We have a lot to cover today, and by the end, a lot of the vibes that you may have felt, I think, will start to make a lot more sense. We've got big names saying it feels crashier now than it did in the 80s. That, of course, doesn't make any sense if you don't know just what the hell went on in the 80s. Basically, it happened in the US where a big...
They buried him, bro. Grade 0. I love this.
Big surge of cheap.
They buried them in the desert in Mexico.
Just led to retailers refusing to sell. They were quite literally getting overloaded with slop, and a lot of that slop ended up in the landfills. Now, as we talked about before, the growth of digital distribution and platform-agnostic games means that the crash just cannot happen in the same way today as it did way back then. We're in a...
I think that's a great point that he's making, and I think he's right about that. That it's a much more multifaceted industry now, and so back then it was much more monolithic.
A totally different era for getting games to players. It's way more diversified. There are so many games, perhaps too many games, and no good way to get them right in front of players. That problem won't go away, but it is an entirely different problem to the problem of today. Because when the Romeros talk about being in a crash, they're looking at it from the other end of the spectrum. Not buying games, but actually making the damn things.
Yeah, and investing in them.
To make them, you need to somehow pay for them. And the funding collapse, especially in Western markets, is completely goddamn brutal. Now, the Romeros felt this firsthand whenever Xbox pulled the plug on their next game.
I've had people ask me to directly fund games. Like, I have. And the reason why is that they're not really able to get money out of these games at all. They did it to themselves, yeah.
Remember big, like, Xbox layoffs, all of that stuff that was happening?
Demo ideas.
Well, yeah, their game got cancelled. And the thing is, they were technically lucky. according to a GDC survey, 1 in 3 developers in the US have been laid off in the last 2 years. And
hey guys, but you own the chuds, didn't you? Great, wow, amazing. Meanwhile, Capcom's hiring. Get naturally selected.
I'm not sure what the numbers
Go
are
back
for
to
UK
McDonald's.
and Ireland, and for American are based in Ireland, but I think you do get the point. It's pretty rough out there. When a AAA
Embarrassing.
studio or an indie collapses and all those developers are left scrambling, they don't just magically become new indie devs ready to launch new projects. Some, many I'd wager, have to simply leave the industry.
Yeah.
You know, because they need to do things like
make money
or support their families. Now that means you lose out on all of their game making knowledge. If you ever think, why do a series of games?
Think about how much game-making knowledge we've lost out on after all the developers of Concord went back to McDonald's. It's like burning the Library of Alexandria, but it's actually more like shutting down the Clown College.
Or maybe some long-running game, whatever it may be. Maybe you think, oh, they're repeating the same mistakes again, or oh, the new content just doesn't feel quite as crafted or whatever as it used to in the past. Very often, it's because knowledge has just walked out the door. And while getting a job at another AAA or something similar is possible, it's actually really quite unlikely. There's a massive oversupply in the games jobs market right now because, well, all of those layoffs. And all this means that if those people want to continue making games, they've got to pay for development costs. There's a little bit of a problem there, because development costs have goddamn skyrocketed. Now then, the first bit of meat for this
And
video.
also, oh, we need to play this. We need the HoloLens. I think this is a huge issue too, is that a lot of these big studios, they spend too much money on things that don't matter. That's probably the biggest issue. They fired the fat chuds and kept the nine. Yeah, they fired all the chuds and they kept the idiots and the foids.
An analyst group called Hush Crasher recently put out a deep dive on how much it costs to make games right now.
Yeah.
And it's pretty rough. So they found that the average game development budget, regardless of scale, has doubled since 2015. And as soon as you start looking at AA and AAA teams, you see the budgets have tripled.
Yeah, fucking do something about this.
I understand that I think this is, like, valid, but I don't think it's as valid as Bellier might be making it out to be. Because you can look at a lot of counterpoints of people that are able to make a video game. For example, Black Myth Wukong, Ghosts of Yotai was also made at a very relatively low budget. You have Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. The best example, of course, is Expedition 33. And then you have these other smaller studios that are able to develop it with less money. So if you're not able to do that, well, Asian studios, well, that's why I use multiple examples, right? I use multiple examples from multiple places.
And it's gone completely insane, but even the smallest solo games are still getting more and more expensive to make than they were, say, 10 years ago. And of course, as with everything else, some of that is just inflation as the world undergoes chaos, madness. But inflation isn't everything. So these analysts found that without inflation, 2025 budgets would have been 28% lower than they were. But the rest is actually just higher costs. Costs that have to be earned back when they sell a game to you. The studio wants to, survive and maybe make another game, which is the really important thing.
I could eat a
but
couple
focusing
of
on
these.
costs, this increased cost is often just attributed to team size, but it's more than just that. It's paying, yes, perhaps more devs, but also ones with more specialized roles, and even the likes of, your management, your producers. All those things can increase a budget, but so too will the one thing that can make a game stand out to you, the audience, and it's increasingly needed as more and more games get released. That
marketing
scope. Now that doesn't mean that everyone's suddenly out there making open world games. That would be insane. But it does mean you've got to look a certain way at your game. Your game will have to feel a certain way. It will have to meet quality of life and content standards that are far higher than they were 10 years ago. A developer can make the same game
I think that he's right about that. The reason why, again, these indie games are costing more money to make is because they are larger in scope, they are competing in a broader market, and they also can appeal to a broader market. So, like, for example, Undertale was a cult classic that probably didn't cost a whole lot of money to make at all, but the reality is that if you're competing with other games that are, like, way higher budget, obviously you have to have some degree of competitive advantage.
A decade ago for the same cost or maybe less. But the thing is, to stand out, they would probably need more money. And the really rough thing
I need
is
marker
that getting
blocks.
any money at all is where the trouble
Give me about 10 of
starts. The most damning graph Hushcrasher shares is this. And even if you're a solo dev, basically, you've now got to scrape together as much money to self-publish your game as a publisher would have once handed you. Somehow. Meanwhile then, publishers are basically just betting in games that they think are more likely to break through and give them a good rate of return. So the cost of delivering a game is going up, and the people holding the purse strings are basically tighter than ever. I mean, 2025, just for one example, saw the lowest gaming startup...
Holy shit! It's a 90% drop from COVID. Now, I also think this is a misleading graph. And the reason why I think this is a misleading graph is because there are secondary variables that were related to gaming that made them more attractive to venture capital during 2021 and 2022 that have dropped off since then. Primarily cryptocurrency integration, Web3 integration, and most importantly, NFTs. So these things are what really kind of bloated the amount of money that was invested into these products back at this period, because companies were able to potentially sell the idea of infinity money, right? They were supposed to sell the idea of, you know, being the first Google or something like that. So this is such a massive corollary that I don't know necessarily if these numbers are accurate. I think that we really should look at these numbers here from like 2020, and this one's 2019 here, right? But even if you do that, like, I would take these out and remove them, because I feel like, again, it was a secondary variable that was causing this investment to occur. But and again, that's my opinion generally. But that being said, if you look at how much it's gone down even then, it's like nothing, right? And also, this is year to date, which means that, so it's June, right? And I don't know when this was actually taken, but, you know, it will maybe be double this, right? And even double this is half of what it was. Correlates inverse proportionally to the rise of woke slop games, which makes everything flop. Well, yes and no, because 2021 and 2022 had more woke slop. And now we have way less woke slop, but you also have way less investment. I think that there's a lot of variables, and being woke or not is like a tier 3 variable, not a tier 1 variable. I think that whenever you want to talk about investment and venture capital and angel investors, you need to be looking at what the theoretical ceiling for an investment return could be. And I think that's the reason why these numbers in the middle were so high.
Funding since 2019. And most of what was there went into mobile
That's what I
games and
think.
betting. But to put that in terms that we'll feel as players, it basically means more trend chasing, less chance to follow-up games, and developers who may just crash and burn before their game can be great.
Can't
A
win 'em
big
all.
reason why very often a game launches and is kinda shit, or, you know, disappointing, maybe full of bugs, full of performance issues.
You want to know the reason why? It's because of something called MVP. Not most valuable player, minimum viable product. When minimum viable product is your sales pitch, that's your product offering. Oh, wow. How exciting. Can't wait.
It's because often the developer has literally no choice but to publish.
Yeah,
and
they
so
have
often
to.
the developer
They
will
have to go
take
to
the
market.
brunt,
Ashley
even
Creation, I
though,
think, had this happen.
in many cases, if you were to say, audit all of their emails and communications, you would find devs basically begging publishers for time. It's one of those tricky things within game development where, funnily enough, an extremely advanced 2-year software project is something that's very hard to perfectly plan down to the month in advance. Yet, that ends up being a situation all too many devs fall into. But what makes the situation even harder for you or me, say, just people who want to play fun video games, it's that games are a really bad investment, unless you specifically are someone who wants to fund and make video games. If you're an investor holding $100,000, which is enough to pay, say, a 3-person team, decent enough
probably for like 2 years at the most, though.
Salaries for a year, well,
yeah.
Where are you going to get a better return on that $100,000? Could it be, say, an indie game that might need another year of investment?
Just put it in NVIDIA, bro. Just put it in NVIDIA, put it in fucking Apple, put it in Microsoft, put it in like 10 different companies. What do you just put it in the stock market, man?
Or is it just putting that money into a market tracking account?
Yeah!
There's risk in both sides, but I think we'd all admit that the game side has way more risk.
And there's way more overhead, too, because now there's like a bunch of extra knowledge that you need to have in order to know why something like that's happening.
Even if it does pay off and, you know, a game does come out and is maybe even profitable, it may still lose to simply just leaving money in the market. Here's a quote. I think about those projects, especially over the last 5 years, what didn't get made because no one would give them $100 grand. What could have changed the way we thought about games because that game was only ever going to make $500,000, which would change a developer's life. Now, that quote was from Rebecca Saltzman, who's the CEO of Finji. They're a publisher, most recently of Night in the Woods and Tunic. Now, she was talking to PC Gamer.
Tunic did really well. It was very well received. I don't know about the other game.
About the funding squeeze that's facing indie devs right now, where basically the traditional money people want Vampire Survivors or Balatro-style successes from solo devs, or are trying to go and back the next Expedition 33 with a budget of millions. Small teams making small games without that huge potential just aren't worth a publisher's time. Raising funds from out.
I remember we made this decision when I was still involved with OTK. We made this decision on funding a game that was called Splody. And we talked about it. It was like, obviously everybody was there. This is like 3 or 4 years ago whenever we started that. And we basically made the decision and we were like, this game is like really niche. It might not ever make money, but it's a really cool game. We don't have to put that much into doing it. Let's just do it. And that's what we did. And I think that unless you have that outlook, you're probably not going to make it for a long time inside of the industry. Does that happen before Mad Mushroom? No, this was one of the first Mad Mushroom games.
Side of games is extremely
How'd that go?
hard.
I honestly don't even know. I have no idea. I wasn't involved at that point.
Because if you look at the balance sheet of any
I don't think it sold super well,
video
but
game
I don't know if they made the money back or not.
It's going to look horrible if you're a traditional, say, financial institution. Now, even if a developer somehow does get the funds and launches, well, the cost of publishing can still kill them after release. Most developers work on a recoup model, where until their funding is paid off from game revenue, developers get somewhere between nothing and almost nothing. Yeah. All those studios that form from, say, laid-off devs who magically secure funding and build their game for an audience.
It was sad to see this game. As far as I know, this game really didn't catch on very well. It was unfortunate. This is made by the developers, the original developers of StarCraft.
That they may still collapse in the aftermath. And there's a specific way that this whole dynamic hurts us as customers so badly. So let me explain, because it's more than just, oh, you know, game came out, we don't have any money, now we're gone. Right. So whenever your game comes out, you'll get a bunch of money into Steam. Now that'll of course go to your publisher. Then it will go through the recoup, and then you will be paid.
RTS. I think the next RTS has to be autoplay. I think that the skill gap of and the frenetic nature of managing conflicts while at the same time managing economies fundamentally isn't fun. Like, it's just simply not fun to play. And I think you're never going to have an RTS that's successful that isn't autoplay. And I know people might not want to hear that, but that's my honest interpretation of where the genre is at right now. And that's the reason why, for example, like Clash Royale is popular.
Now, you could be paid in payment terms that are like, say, Nat 45, so it could be quite a bit of time until you actually get money. Maybe 1 or 2 payroll cycles. That could be pretty damn challenging. But here's the thing. The amount of money that you will get in an early stage of your game's recoup will almost certainly not be enough to cover your burn rate unless your game is a real outlier success. So what that basically means is, before you ship your game, you need to have funding lined up for your next game. How the hell do you do that? Well, you've got to actually develop a prototype for that game. You've got to have your pitch. You've got to go around trying to sell.
And the other thing, and like, I don't know if he's going to talk about this, but as somebody who's, you know, closer to this, one of the biggest weaknesses there is because if your funding is drying up, one of the best ways that you can secure future funding is by prior success. So, for example, if you had somebody that previously funded you and you were like, we made your money back, we were able to give you a 10% return, this is bigger in scope, we have a better idea, we have more experience now, can you give us, you know, last time you gave us 200 grand, this time can we get 4 million, right? And like, if you can do that, then obviously broken system, it's not a broken system. What I'm saying is that basically the bottom fell out of it. And so now all those previous investors they could go back to are no longer in the market to fund them anymore. So they can't rely on previous successes and existing relationships because they've exited the market.
Lots of publishers.
$4 million is an insane increase. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously it is. Yeah. Duh.
Or maybe trying to find some, like, you know, government, like local economic growth fund stuff, any of that. Now, do you know what that's maybe not ideal for? The first game coming out at a perfect level of quality. Because if the studio puts 100% of their focus into just that one game, yeah, that may well increase the chances of it having less bugs, less issues, you know, all this stuff. But it's also fairly likely that it will leave a developer basically up shit creek without a paddle, because if you don't...
And you can see, right? Yacht Club says it's make or break for the studio after delaying Mina the Hollower. I feel like... How much is this? Yeah, how much is this? How much is the game? Because I'm trying to think about how much money it is. 20 bucks. In the lifetime of this game, it will be a success, but even something like this, I feel like probably the number is probably about 200,000. That's going to be pretty close. It will be. Like, that's going to be hard for them to make money, even with a pretty big success like that, which is really sad.
Have that funding lined up well in advance. It is a bit
Lauren
of a
went all in on
tough
Baldur's Gate 3. Sven Vick even put up his own money.
You could go under, which would mean that even if your publisher does continue to sell your game, and they almost certainly would be, obviously, well, the recoup won't matter anymore. It'll just all go to the publisher. And this is the kind of thing, the kind of incentive structure that can put all of us against each other, that can make it so that a developer may be just tearing themselves up trying to make everything work, but absolutely know that unless they can secure maybe some prototype funding for their next game, that they can't just focus on the launch of their current game. Because if they do, they risk the entire company just going to put. Which is to say, it's a fairly grim situation.
Yeah, you can't go. You can't get off the saddle. You have to just keep going.
And all around.
The developers, if you need publishers,
there are certainly indie games you and I have seen
they do.
that have sold insane quantities, especially relatively.
Yeah, but this is the problem. The issue with this is that it's like streaming, right? Where like somebody sees like, oh my god, this guy's got like 10,000 viewers and he has millions of dollars. All I have to do is make, get this many viewers and I can get $100,000. So the idea of that is that there's such a massive spotlight put on the 0.01% anomalies that you have a survivorship bias that is totally like not representative at all.
Team size. That's meant many of those teams have a pretty nice amount of cash lying around. And the good news is that some of those teams are now trying to fix the problem. Outer Sloth are not a games publisher, and they're not a knockoff of Inner Sloth, the people who made Among Us. They are, in fact, the funding arm of Inner Sloth. And they're basically giving money to games like Clickholding, Mars First Logistics, and Flock Around. Tiny games with niche audiences, but experiences that you kind of can't get anywhere else. There ain't that many games like Clickholding. But most important,
this is a big component, right? And this is the reason why, if like the larger a company becomes and the more expansive a company becomes, the less this is possible, because you're bringing in outside investment that has levels of accountability to it that take it away from its original goal. And what that means in like a more basic term is that whenever you're taking other people's money, they're going to want to return for that money. So even if you're creative and you think that it's just, oh, I'm putting the money in to make these games good, somebody that might have part of their money tied up with what you're doing won't have that same outlook. And that's just inevitable. So it's just a corpo funding based on niche ideas? Yeah.
Because they're not a publisher, they offer fair recoup rates that let devs build sustainably, which is because, being indie devs themselves, they know that no one else is fighting for them at this scale. At least they hadn't been. We are seeing more and more companies start to do this kind of thing. There's Landfall, the co-developers behind Peak, who have just revealed Evil Landfall, their indie investment arm, which is invested in bringing games like Repo to the market. There's Plasmophobia's Kinetic Games, who have just announced plans to fund 2 to 3 indie games per year.
I'm really happy that we're having this happen, and I'm happy about this on like a very, very large scale cultural level that we've finally moved away from, and we've had creative people inside of these spaces that now have the capital to fund creative works. Because one of the worst things that can happen to any sort of a creative environment is for it to be taken over by equity and just basically capitalism. And I'm a big capitalism enjoyer, right? I am. I think capitalism is amazing. But at the same time, there are going to be detriments whenever you have people that are trying to just simply take all of this and make as much money as they possibly can. And like, I think about this a lot myself too, that you have, and also one thing that you're going to notice with a lot of these people that are doing this stuff, many of the people that are leading these initiatives are young. It's because I think that a lot of us, like, young, what I mean by young is under 50, right? Is that these are people who have grown up, you know, in like the fucking Wolf of Wall Street, you know, like money never sleeps, fucking, you know, like everybody is trying to make as much money as possible and, you know, like squeeze every cent out of things. And I think that there's a general fatigue with a lot of people that are young about that entire environment. And it's something that I'm really happy to see that now some of these people have been able to gain their own capital, right? They've been able to come up with their own good game, and they're paying it forward. And I think another great example of this that we can use is Gary's mod. Like the guy that said, well, like, listen, I'm not going to take all the fucking money because if somebody had done that to me, I would have never been able to make my game, right? And so the moment that you have the cultural paradigm shift away from maximizing income and maximizing revenue towards creating art and making, instead of a product, but making a experience or a work of art, I think that you have a profoundly beneficial and amazing transition. And I think it's a very, very good thing. Very amazing good thing.
So basically, we're seeing indie devs backing indie devs to make sure they actually get their shot at putting some of their experience to work in a way that'll actually get a game in front of you and hopefully not leave them completely screwed once the game publishes. And that's because right now, just about no one else is going to do this bit right. We've been on a hell of a journey today, starting with the Romeros, the talk of the game crash feeling crashier than the one of the 80s from a dev's perspective. And actually, for their scale of company, just any large enough indie that's got a fairly decent staff count, yeah, I actually do think it is very crashy. Right
and this is also one of the reasons why, for me, I wanted to do like the indie, the games show, right? The one that I'm doing, you know, on the monthly thing and everything, right? Is because like I don't have a big game that I had succeed that was like, you know, I have a ton of like extra funding money to do that with. I mean, I have plenty of money I could do that with, but like that's not really that's not my area of expertise. My area of expertise is marketing and promotion. And so like that's the way that I try to do the same thing.
And the sad part of this is it's all at a scale that means there's very little you or I can do about it. Now, the funding from Outer Sloth, Landfall, and Kinetic Games, you know, it's good, but it cannot replace billions of investment every year, with indie devs these days getting crumbs compared to, say, well, the good times or the bad good times, by which I mean the investment boom during COVID. Because goddamn, people were able to raise money back then, but, well, booms do tend to lead to bubbles and bursts, don't they? And likewise, these indie funders can't reckon with, say, the scale of funding pulled from the developers that NetEase and Tencent set up during the COVID boom as well. They can't fix an economic crisis that leaves people choosier than ever when it comes to spending money in games. But what they
It's
can
also one of the big problems that they have is that they develop big games like Highguard or Concord or Marathon that at the beginning of the development cycle, the game feels like and seems like it's a really great idea. I think God of War Laufey is probably the same thing, where like if they could probably go back right now and seen how tastes in the market and the culture has changed, they would probably undo that decision and take a different approach with the new God of War game. But you can't really project out, like, and that's the problem whenever you're making content and you're making media that is derivative of a cultural trend, is that, you know, you basically can either lock in a lot of money or you can lock yourself out of any money. It's like a huge risk, huge reward. And the longer that it takes for you to do it, the worse it's going to be. Like Elden Ring, Expedition 33, Baldur's Gate 3, Hollow Knight, Silk Song, I don't know, like I could think of I don't know, those games, for example, like all of those games, like if they came out 10 years ago or 10 years later, they would still be massively successful because they're fundamentally very good games. But they're like, you know, Slay the Spire 2. If it came out 10 years ago or 10 years from now, it would still be seen as a very good game. Same as Balatro or something like that. But the issue is that whenever you're making games that are much more contingent on the current state of the market, that's a big difference. That's a big problem. And especially true that, and I think that becomes infinitely more true with multiplayer games, because multiplayer games are the ones that really follow trends a lot more heavily than single player games. Single player games generally don't follow trends in the same way.
Do is back devs making games you'll love, the sorts of games that deserve to reach you. And while they cannot save the games industry, they can at least make sure that few more games reach you than if they didn't. Now, we really want to save the games industry. What we need is more people buying games. And the best way to do that is to make sure people can actually find games they'll love. This is now a problem that's so bad that one of the guys who set up...
The problem is that people don't buy video games because they don't have any money. I think the main issue and what's going to really help the games industry is if the, honestly, like, I'll be real, I think AI and the fixation that certain people have against AI is really detrimental to the games industry. Because AI will advance gaming and it will make costs cheaper and it will make it easier to develop things. But right now, inside of Western markets, there's such a massive animus against it. At least a, you know, like, I don't think it's really as big as people make it out to be, but, you know, like on social media, it seems to be quite large. You know, these people that are against that, they're basically signing up these different companies to fail. Especially in companies like Brazil, where the games are extremely expensive. Yeah, of course, right? And I think it especially becomes more true inside of developing countries. You're right. They're still going to charge a stupid amount, though. Yeah, but they can at least get the game out the door, right? The other times, they can't even get the game out the door.
Steam Labs is basically sounding the alarm bell.
Yeah.
If you want to learn all about that story, check out this video next.
It's mainly because there's more slop than ever. Yeah, I agree with you, but I think that slop is not exclusive to AI. I think that there's plenty of slop that's being made by people. What are the devs? What's this here? What are the devs who made models and textures going to do if AI takes your job? I don't know. They could work in a different field. They could go learn a different trade. They could educate themselves in another way. Like, there's dozens of things that they could do. Like, ultimately, I don't really care a lot about their job because why would I don't have any obligation to have to pay more money for a video game just because, you know, like, you know, somebody else wants to keep their job. Yeah, learn the code. Learn to do something else, right? And it's just that simple. I like this video. I like talking about this a lot, especially like the metagame stuff. I definitely talking about how is cloud gaming going to affect all these issues. Cloud gaming, I think, is going to make I don't know, actually. That's a good question, because it could be a bad thing because it could make optimization less important because you're doing database computing rather than local computing. So I'm not entirely sure about that. but I think it probably would make things cheaper if I had to guess, but I actually don't have an answer for that. I don't know what the answer for that is at all. Nothing's time for people who design textures to use AI. Remember that? Yeah, and also like the replacement, it's not going to be people that use textures are all getting fired. It's going to be the best texture guy and the second best texture guy keep their jobs, and the other 8 texture guys get fired. So AI is not going to replace everybody. It's going to just simply enable one person to do 5 people's jobs. And I think that's really what's happened more than anything. Entry level will be hit harder. Yeah, entry level gets hit harder. You know, data entry or anything like that gets hit massively hard. I just think that's what's happening generally. And have you ever interviewed or teamed up with Bellier on anything? Oh, I've talked to Bellier before. Yeah, I definitely have. And for sure. Let me go back. I'll see if I can find any more of these other posts here. I'm trying to, and exactly what happened with automation hit. Yeah. I mean, an automation and everything like that is just going to become the norm with everything, right? I think that's obvious. So cloud gaming has been tried and failed every time. There used to be one in 2010s called OnLive, and they shut it down. Insane ping, you can't use it for anything besides gaming. I disagree that I think cloud gaming is the future in a long enough timeline. I think it is, and people might not want to hear that because it's more you'll own nothing and be happy, but I think that people will acquiesce to that and prefer it in the same way that people have preferred Netflix over owning DVDs. So what I think is happening is that now you have things like Parsec, for example, and most video games, actually not most, but like many video games don't require instantaneous fast reaction gameplay. And like if you think about it, right, most games don't require a under 150 millisecond response time. They do not. I'll go through and let's just look and figure it out for ourselves, right? We're gonna go at the top. Let's see. Does this game require a response time like that? Not really. Does First Light require that level of response time? Probably not. Age of Empires 2? No, definitely it doesn't. AI limit? Yeah, maybe to dodge, but I bet you could probably play that in Parsec as well, especially if you can read animations. So if you just go down here, Among Us, obviously it doesn't. Animal Well, obviously it doesn't. Nether Crab's Treasure, maybe, because you have to dodge. Arc Raiders, probably it does require that because you're playing against other people and it's a competitive game. Armored Core 6, it does not require that. Ashes Creation, it's a dead game, who cares? Atomic Picnic does not require that at all. Avatar, I never played it. Avowed does not require an MS. So, like, what my point is that many of these games actually do not require hyper-fast reactions. They don't require hyper-fast reactions. So cloud gaming, and I think that those are the games that people play all the time too. They do. Wrong? It's not wrong. You're so wrong. I'm not wrong. You're gonna see it happen. You're going to see it happen. You're already seeing it happen. Your point is the games they're bought does not require? Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of these. NVIDIA Reflex anyway. Cloud's the next step to the death of PC gaming. Yeah, I mean, like, you can get mad. Like, don't shoot the messenger. Like, don't get mad at me. This is just what's gonna happen. Like, that's it. You're funny thinking 150 ms is not 400 ms? I've used cloud gaming services recently. This isn't Google Stadia from 2016. Parsec is a free service that you can download and you can try it for yourself. And try it for yourself and see what the difference is. It's not as big as you think it is. And I would challenge anybody to make those decisions. Like, try this and try it for yourself. See what it's actually like. It's called Parsec. Connect to work or games from anywhere. Is a remote desktop you'll actually love, quick to work. And I use this myself. And where wins me, the top player uses GeForce Now, similar to Parsec, I guess. I don't know about that. So yeah, GeForce Now is pretty good, but it's pricey. Yeah, and that's what's going to happen. Steam, Remote Play, etc. It's not an ad. We used Parsec to play games that were in the show that we did. What was it called? Fucking Pixel Pitch. Yeah. And you're partially right. It's not required, but it feels like shit, even for the peasants. You push the button and Mario doesn't jump. Yeah. You guys aren't, like, everybody's opinions and, like, fucking, like, that's not what's happening anymore. Download one of these softwares and try it. Again, I don't. Has anybody ever even done this? Like, just literally try it out. As I thought what you thought until I tried it. Yeah, just do it. Or don't. Watch somebody else do it. Do you think in the future there'll be a service that includes all games and all platforms you can sub to monthly and just play them from a cloud? No, I don't think so because of publishing rights. But I do think so it would be possible theoretically. Yes, absolutely. Depends on actual bandwidth, internet, not the cloud app gaming itself. It depends. There's like 3 different variables. But yeah. Then I don't care. I already pirate everything. I don't own it. These services give me nothing. That's fine, but they're going to make things harder to pirate. Like, I mean, obviously they're going to do that. I play on PlayStation Portal and I don't feel the difference from playing natively. Yeah, exactly. Like, people don't understand how good this is, and they're still using anecdotes from literally 10 years ago. Completely antiquated anecdotes, right? That's what I think it is.
In potentially the biggest backfire in American politics, everyone was pushing this Epstein stuff on Trump as much as they possibly could, only for the files to come out and basically completely vindicate them. Leftoids are losing their mind, and they're like, no, actually, just because you call the police on Epstein, it doesn't actually mean that you didn't support Epstein, right, in the most unbelievable cope campaign of all time. Now, I am part of the conspiracy theory crowd, so I actually know how to put logical things together. The left, they've never had a conspiracy theory go their way in their entire lives. So now they're trying their absolute best to come up with one, and quite literally, it's looking really bad for them. All right, Hillary and Bill Clinton show up with a mega response. They're here to save the day. They're blaming the Russians. I'm not even kidding. Not even kidding. They're released the names of the people in the Epstein files on the House floor, and CoffeeZilla interviewed the congressman who saw the unredacted Epstein files. So we have a lot to talk about. Lock in, boys and girls. We have to make fun of idiots because these guys are incredible. So this is the released document. We've talked about it in the previous video. Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative. She is evil, and to focus on her. Trump told Blank that he was around Epstein once with teenagers were present, and Trump got the hell out of there. Trump was one of the very first people to call when people found out they were investigating Epstein. All right, no one can explain how Epstein made his money. All right, no one talked about this. But essentially, Donald Trump was an actual, literal FBI informant. An actual FBI informant to help get Jeffrey Epstein arrested. All right, now that's pretty insane. That's actually insanity. Now this was like the smoking gun, the end. It's over. Like holy crap, they ended up accidentally vindicating Trump. Now we know why the Biden administration.
I don't know why I came down here.
All right, the Biden administration did not want to release the files because it vindicated the guy they're trying to make believe is him. You know, now the irony is, right, Epstein was besties with all the Democrats, right? Every Democrat was friends with Epstein, and Trump was a Democrat in those days, right? So it's exclusively a Democrat issue. The one Democrat that didn't party with Epstein was Trump. It's crazy. The one Democrat that didn't party with Epstein was Trump. Yeah, anyway, so now, of course, they tried their absolute best to still try to ignore the actual smoking gun evidence of his innocence and try to push as many hoaxes as they possibly can. For example, Trump is in the unredacted Epstein files more than 1 million times, Raskin alleges. First of all, you mean to tell me that there's 3 million Epstein files and Trump is in over 1 million of them? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is the most obvious lie in the history of the world. Second of all, this doesn't mean any wrongdoing was done. By the way, it doesn't mean anything. First of all, it's a lie. Like, he was not mentioned. He's not in 1 million of the 3 million Epstein files. You think every third email Epstein ever made was about Trump? Get out of here, bro. All right? Epstein liked Trump like Hassan liked Asmongold. All right? Like, get out of here, bro. He fucking hated him. He tried to make sure that he didn't get elected. They tried to bury him. All right? So get out of here. Miss me with that shit. He was colluding with Obama on making up the Russian hoax to prevent Trump from becoming president. All right? Like, it's obvious insanity. More than 1 million times. All right? So, again, the Epstein file comes out proving that Trump is innocent, or he's mentioned in them many times. All right? And they keep trying to do this. All right, so ABC News, a former police chief who investigated Jeffrey Epstein in the mid-2000s, told the FBI received a call from Donald Trump at the time to say, thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this, according to an FBI account. So now ABC News is releasing an old call that they had in the 2000s about how Trump was trying to do this. Absolute insanity, by the way. Absolute insanity. It's crazy shit. Now, look at how the Daily Beast is reporting this. President Donald Trump's name appears in the Epstein files more than 1 million times, according to a top Democrat who reviewed the Justice Department's unredacted version of the document. What the fuck? Are we serious? Like, are we seriously doing this? This is insane. How could you possibly write an article that's more bad faith than this? This is the most bad faith article I've ever seen in my entire life. All right, he's mentioned many times. Yeah, they talk about how he called the FBI on him to put him in jail. Like that's, for example, one of the times that he's mentioned. He's also mentioned specifically when Epstein was working with the Obamas to make up a Russia hoax to prevent Trump from getting elected. Right? Zero context, he's mentioned a lot. All right, so this retard says he's mentioned 1 million times, which is an obvious lie. And they're not that retarded. They know he's lying, but they'll still parrot it. I mentioned 1 million times according to the top Democrats. All right, dude. So, all right, you have the retards on the left, like the Harry Sissons of the world, losing their mind. All right. So, which one is it, MAGA? Did Trump not know about Epstein's crimes, or did he know about Epstein's abuse of a little girl for years and only reported to the police after Epstein was arrested? An investigation has been ongoing. Can't have both. Well, I'll explain to Harry Sisson because he's retarded. It's very simple. Trump knew Epstein was a creep. He didn't know what his actual crimes were. So when he heard that there was an investigation into Epstein, he called the police to try to help. Duh! It's the most obvious answer of all time. What are we even talking about? This is insane. Holy shit, Harry. Well, what is this witch hunt? Don't you want the actual rapists and pedophiles to go to jail? No, you don't. Because the left doesn't care. The left actually likes rapists and pedophiles. That's why they import them in our country and try to prevent them from getting deported. Yeah, that's what they do. Now, no one actually wants to talk about the actual facts. In 2004, he banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. 2005, reported Epstein's behavior to the authorities. 2009, and then Epstein in 2008 was arrested for child prostitution. 2009, cooperated with Epstein's victim's lawyer. 2017, signed an executive order targeting human trafficking. 2019, Epstein arrested during Trump's presidency. 2019, FBI raid on Epstein's island. 4 years of absolute silence. 2025, release the Epstein files. Oh my God, these people are unbelievable. Yeah, so if anyone that actually looks at the timeline doesn't draw the conclusion that Trump, I mean, look, if more information comes out that proves Trump's a pedophile, I want him to hang, all right? I'll be real. But like we literally have, straight up, innocent until proven guilty, and this dude's been proven innocent as fuck so far. Giga innocent so far. You know, it incriminated a whole rat fuck cluster of Democrats. Don't get me wrong. Those guys were exposed. But the irony is no one cares because they don't care about justice. They only care about politics because they're immoral shitbags. Now, I've been saying this for a long time, and Asmongold was against me on this. All right? I've been saying that there's no evidence Trump did anything wrong. If there was evidence Trump did something wrong, the Democrats would have released it under Biden's term. They tried to fucking kill him and jail him, for God's sake. They would have released Epstein files that incriminated him. But they didn't. And in my opinion, they didn't because they didn't have anything on him. I've been saying this from day one, all right? I got so much shit in the beginning, but now that the narrative is turning my way, I'm very excited to see what everyone else has to say.
Apparently, this is what's so fucking insane. I did not expect this to happen. Trump was one of the first people who was a whistleblower on Jeffrey Epstein. More evidence that Trump was the original Jeffrey Epstein whistleblower is coming out in the court documents. Trump was responsible for Epstein's first conviction. So you remember whenever this came out?
When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI.
This was months ago.
I can tell you that I talked to President Trump back in 2009, and several times after that, he helped me. He got on the phone. He told me things that were helping our investigation.
I now see why Biden didn't release the Epstein files when he had 4 years to do so. I don't think anybody was predicting this. This is the file.
I predicted this. I was completely correct. All right? I was right, by the way. I predicted this. All right? Let's just be on the same page here for a second. I had the theory that the left is fucking scared of Trump because Trump isn't like one of the corrupt politicians like everyone else. He's his own breed of corrupt politician. He has his own agenda. He can't be bought off by the retards in Congress. He's already a billionaire. All right, Trump has his own agenda. He does his own shit. And they're terrified of that because they can't control him. So I think that's why they wanted him jailed and killed. So if they quite literally had a smoking gun in the Epstein files that said he raped kids, nope, they would have used that shit on him.
Knew Epstein was disgusting. Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative. She is evil and to focus on her. Trump told Blank that he was around Epstein once when teenagers were present, and Trump got the hell out of there. Trump was one of the very first people to call when people found out they were investigating Epstein. No one could explain how Epstein made his money. Prince Andrew was a fixture in Palm Beach. So Jeffrey Epstein thought that Trump ratted him out. Epstein came to believe
Trump did rat him out. Oh my God, the Trump-is-based jar is getting fuller and fuller. And another penny into the Nux is always right count. Let's do it. By the way, this is a rare moment. Okay, I'm sorry to take the victory lap. Alex Jones was wrong about a conspiracy, and I was right about it. All right? Let that sink into your head. All right? Alex Jones was throwing up in his car. All right, about the Epstein files, saying that Trump's a pedophile. All right, Alex Jones was wrong about a conspiracy, and I was right. That's right, baby. Hell yeah.
Believed that it was Trump who had first caused him to be investigated by the law enforcement in 2005. This is also one from 2016.
Bill Clinton.
Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
Oh, boy.
That island was really a cesspool. There's no question.
Yeah, he was calling this shit out every year, all the time. It's crazy. Take a penny from the Alex Jones is always right jar and put a shekel into the Nux is always right jar.
About it, just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it. The island was an absolute cesspool.
He has quite obviously conducted himself in a manner unbecoming. Yes.
Yeah. Unbecoming. He was a sex offender.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being polite, in the sense that he was a sex offender.
But you were staying
Yes?
a convicted sex offender.
It was a convenient place to stay. There is, I mean,
oh,
right.
Holy.
I threw him out of a club. I didn't want anything to do with him. That was many, many years ago. Now, other people, they went all over with him. They went to his island. Find out the people that went to the island.
Yeah, why is he in the clear?
Weird how he's been calling for that the whole time.
He's not in the clear, but what it was showing is that before any public scrutiny occurred, Donald Trump expressed concern about Epstein.
And it was while he was a Democrat.
Directly to the authorities. It seemed pretty obvious to me that Donald Trump and Epstein were pretty close at one point. It's very hard really for me to say that, you know, like this guy's totally innocent, but at the same time, whenever you're the guy that's ratting this person out before anything ever happens publicly, then I do think that looks very good on you, bro.
Dude, someone in my chat just said the ultimate code. Trump could have complied with the government out of convenience, which shows he had no integrity. Well, they had no integrity, and he did, yeah. No, so this Epstein guy, he really sounds like a, as the British Prince guy says, a relatively impolite individual. He was very impolite when he was, you know, raping all those children and then proceeding to eat them. That's pretty crazy. So yeah, anyway, Trump, back in the news, all right, he did a little Fox News interview making fun of Somalia, like any intelligent person should do. I know a lot of people are saying that you should make fun of Somalia so much, but I should, actually. Because they fuck their cousins and they mutilate women, okay? All right, they stop doing that. All right, they stop mutilating women. 99% of women in Somalia are mutilated. They stop mutilating 99% of women, and I will stop making fun of them. That's probably not true. I'll probably continue to make fun of them, but, like, let's tell them that. So we'll put the bar somewhere.
So you're going to still go after the whole waste, fraud, and
Well, I
abuse
am
issue.
in Minnesota. Take a look at Minnesota.
Minnesota?
So we think it's at least $19 billion of fraud, medical fraud. Somalia has come in here. What they've done to our country, they've come into our country, and what they've done with that fake congresswoman, she's so bad. No, we're going to get to the bottom of it.
The fake congresswoman, Ilhan Omar. All right, so she is currently getting investigated for all sorts of fraud. And don't worry, this is not a tangent. This is still the same subject. Ilhan Omar then tweeted, and this is amazing, the leader of the Pedophile Protection Party is trying to deflect attention from his name being all over the Epstein files. At least in Somalia, they execute pedophiles, not elect them. So this got 29,000 likes, 1 million views. And she refused, and she turned off comments, obviously. So this is the most evil, slanderous shit ever, all right? Saying someone's in the Epstein files. Again, he's in the Epstein files that literally vindicated him, all right? But they don't care. That's one. Two, all right, they execute pedophiles in Somalia, but do you know how they define pedophile in Somalia? They define pedophile in Somalia raping a baby that didn't start puberty yet. That's the definition of pedophilia in Somalia. Once puberty started, they could get married in Somalia. That's right. You could marry a 10-year-old there, okay, if puberty started. So, yes, technically true, they execute pedophiles, but their definition of pedophilia is very different than normal cultures that aren't rape cultures. Did you know rape was legal in Somalia 5 years ago? Did you know that? You probably didn't know that. Did you know that? Did you know rape was legal 5 years ago in Somalia? Yeah, so anyway, that's kind of where we're at. So, you know, she's trying to make believe Somalia is like some superior place. Ilhan Omar, go back to Somalia, all right? It's so good. Just go back over there, guy. Go back, all right? Do it, please, please, please do it. Now, Jasmine Crockett, you know, she's also been pretty upfront with her entire ideology
here
it is regarding Epstein.
You know, it is so... I don't really know where we are in this country. Why are we even having this conversation? The United States is falling apart right now. Partly because he's going out and randomly allowing for the killings of people in the middle of the street.
Yeah, no one's allowing for random killings of people in the middle of the street. But again, she just lied. She just lies.
The other part of it is that we have a 34-count convicted felon, and there are people that are still shielding him from...
Is she against convicted felons now? Are we against convicted felons? Because if so, I'm sure that the black community would have a lot of things to say about you. I actually have faith that people can evolve and grow and change.
Any type of accountability as it relates to a child sex trafficking ring.
He is not tied to this ring, actually, at all. There is no evidence of anything.
It's time to take the blinders off. Like, I don't understand why we are pretending like any of this is normal. And I think that that is the level of frustration.
We elected Donald Trump to deport every single illegal alien. Every single illegal alien has to go. And because she doesn't like reality or democracy or quite literally anything that is intellectually stimulating at all, you know, it's not easy to have a conversation with an 85 IQ individual. And then Jasmine Crockett has an IQ of 75, so that's even worse. So the reality is, this is crazy, dude. This is insane.
That so many people are bringing, whether you're a Democrat, Republican,
Holy
or independent,
shit.
specifically to the Epstein file situation. Because right now we know that they were willing to try to throw the Clintons in prison for not showing up, yet they won't even allow us to bring other people into committee who we know are mentioned in these files and mentioned so much more.
First of all, literally untrue. What are we talking about? They're calling in a bunch of people to testify in the Epstein files, as they should. Bill Clinton was on Epstein's island. He was in pools with Epstein and redacted women of redacted ages. All right? They should testify. They refuse to testify. They should go to jail. They were in contempt of court. They should be in the slammer. Like, she lies like she breathes.
When we went through the hearing as relates to the Clintons, I said, listen, we know that Donald Trump's name is mentioned more.
It's not about if your name is mentioned. It's about if your name is mentioned in an incriminating fashion, okay? Epstein was talking about Jesus and Mohammed, all right? I don't think they're bringing Jesus and Mohammed to the stand, all right? Not everyone mentioned in the files is automatically guilty, all right? There needs to be a context. Now, the context for Trump was they tried to make sure Trump didn't get elected to be president, and Trump was in the files literally exposing Epstein to the FBI. What are we talking about? Yes, Donald Trump was mentioned more. Donald Trump is the most famous person on the planet, my guy. Donald Trump is the most famous person on the planet, and he has been for the last decade, whether you like it or not. He is the most talked about person in the world for the last decade, and it's not even close, all right? Every single government in the entire Western world came together to try to come up with ways to prevent Donald Trump from winning his elections, and he might have won 3 of them. All right? So, again, she's retarded.
Bring him in, too. Like, I'm not saying that this should be partisan. This should be whoever. I want to be clear about that.
Whoever is mentioned in 3 million files? Woman, that's everyone ever.
The Democrats, this isn't partisanship. This is about right versus wrong.
Yeah, I agree. It is about right versus wrong. But this is mega cope. Insane cope. But his name is mentioned there. His main. For the Democrats, this isn't partisanship. Oh, really? Then why were the Democrats silent about the Epstein files during Biden's entire presidency?
Knock it off.
Yeah. So anyway, this is Jasmine Crockett's actual strategy. She's a congresswoman. This is Jasmine Crockett's actual strategy, and she admitted it.
You seem to accuse Republican Lee Zeldin of taking money from Jeffrey Epstein, but it seemed like if it was not the same person, I wonder, like, is there times in which the rhetoric goes too far? Are there times in which you should say, you know, maybe I messed that one up?
Yeah, so for the record, what he's referring to is when Jasmine Crockett took the stand and said, oh yeah, well, all these Republicans took money from Jeffrey Epstein, but it turns out it was a different guy named Jeffrey Epstein. It was some doctor, Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, that contributed to Republicans. And she said, Jeffrey Epstein donated to all these guys. And then they called her out on it later, and she's like, well, I technically didn't lie. All right, dude.
No, not in this environment. I don't. I think that, you know, we are really in uncharted territory.
So I hear your
I'm
argument.
so sick of listening.
Reflecting the urgency necessary.
The
And
fucking
so that's why
Epstein
you're
files
voting
are online. Anybody can look at them. That's what's so fucking enraging about that.
TikTok Kool-Aid pineapples are apparently sending people to the hospital. My main reaction here is, are we really surprised? I mean, there are hundreds of grams of sugar in these things, and I mean, there's no way most of them are made in an industrial kitchen. I mean, this is essentially a whole new TikTok pink sauce or pickle girl situation waiting to happen all over again. So essentially what started as a guy selling Kool-Aid pineapples out of his car somehow turned into a viral catchphrase, a meme celebrity, and of course, a cryptocurrency, because of course meme coin bottom feeders will turn anything into a meme coin at this point. But hey, if you spent any amount of time on social media in the last week, you've probably seen people say some variation of that big guy or that bit tough. I think the first obvious questions for most people are, what does that even mean? Well, the answer starts with a jar of pineapples. Specifically, it starts with a trend called the Kool-Aid pineapple. And somehow, through a series of events that can really only happen on the internet, the jar of pineapples led to multiple news articles, millions upon millions of views, and yes, because apparently no one's learned anything over the last couple of years, a meme coin. Now, this pineapple itself is apparently called the Kool-Aid pineapple, or Kool-Aid pineapples, where people take pineapple spears, dump Kool-Aid powder into the juice, and add enough sugar to make a dentist completely freak out and probably kill some sort of Victorian-era child. Then they shake it together and then let everything soak. And the result is a snack that some people insist is technically fruit. I look at it and I go, there's no way people actually consume that. And also, calling that a fruit is essentially like dumping a whole bunch of melted milk chocolate onto a fruit and still calling it a fruit. Sure, technically there's a fruit under there, but now it's a dessert. Regardless, though, the trend started off earlier this year in Florida, where vendors began selling giant jars of this stuff from food trucks and pop-up stands, and sometimes straight out of the back of their cars. And I guess there were a few content creators who started making it popular. You have one guy by the name of Silly Willy. He's one of the creators who created the initial success. He also sells his Pineapple Dreams Kool-Aid pickles out of the back of his car, which admittedly is not where I usually would buy produce, but to each their own.
We have the best pineapples from Silly Willy. That's good too.
I mean, just the thought of someone opening the back of their trunk and going, hey, you want to buy some pineapples? And I just see a whole bunch of jars of sludge that look like they can be alternatives of Fortnite chug jugs. I'm not really gonna look at that with a whole bunch of excitement. Regardless, it's turning into a very interesting side hustle. Because what is this? I feel like every few years we just get a new version of the pink sauce, and that's what this is right now. First we had the pink sauce, then we had the pickle girl, now we have the Kool-Aid pineapples. Thankfully, no one's been sent to the hospital with botulism yet, but I mean, let's be real, how far away are we really? Yeah, that's a lot of pineapples. Do you think that these cashiers just hit them with a deep sigh every time they see someone approaching their register with more pineapples that could ever feed a village? I don't know. I also don't know what kind of financial indicator this is, because in theory you could be like, oh wow, this is proof the economy's doing well, because if people are buying $20 pineapple jars from people, clearly they're not struggling, right? But then you can make the counter argument of, uh-oh, do people have to sell pineapples on the side just to be able to afford rent? I don't know. Regardless, $20 for a jar of pineapples sounds insane to me, especially with just pineapples, Kool-Aid, and sugar. But I guess if you put all my skepticism and jokes aside, it seems like people love this. And I mean, if you're on Facebook Marketplace, especially in Florida, you're definitely going to see a whole bunch of pineapple Kool-Aid jars on there.
We outside with the candy pineapples, y'all. Pull up on me.
Yeah, I mean, these are obviously flavored ones because you can see the cherry and lemonade there. My main concern is what are the black ones there? Like, do you want to eat your pineapples that look like sludge from a zombie apocalypse? But anyway, videos of customers trying these jars started racking up millions upon millions of views, mainly because of how bizarre the trend is. But I guess you could say that the Kool-Aid pickle trend went extremely viral.
It is official. I am being sued by Ethan Klein in the courts of Calgary, Alberta for defamation. I do plan on fighting against this, but for now it is in the hands of the courts and our attorneys. I will say that it worries me what it means for the commentary community and especially the Canadian commentary community. This is about all I can say. I'm sorry that the stream is so short. Have a good day, everyone.
I'm just fulfilling my duty as Lex Juther. So yes, I am suing my former bestie, Ida.
Yeah, so that happened.
He can't help himself.
No, he can't. I mean, that's what, like the 4th or 5th in the last year?
Some people just love to sue.
I think it's the 5th. No, wait, the 6th. Wasn't there like an NVIDIA one or something?
He's got his lawyer on speed dial.
Oh, yeah, that's one happy lawyer. So there's mixed opinions on the internet about this. And I was kind of wrestling with it for like a day. But I think I've reached my position. And my position is this is a little bit gay. So we're going to hear from H3. We're going to hear from iDubbbz and a couple of other people to try and make sense of this kind of thing.
We're presenting the facts in the court of Bering.
Yeah. Now, I had to edit out some dead air, believe me, because when you watch H3 in raw form and Ian iDubbbz in raw form, my God, it just drags on and on and on and on. So these are like the truncated clips we're going to watch. Is that the right word, truncated? So anyway, let's have a look right after this. Let's go! 21,442 people, 5 years, Harvard, 1 powder. This isn't me hyping up some random supplement. This is the largest clinical trial ever done on cocoa flavanols. Double-blind, placebo-controlled, Harvard and Brigham Women's Hospital. The FDA recognised the results and approved the health claim, the first one for cocoa in history. Here's Rhonda Patrick, one of the top independent science educators in the world, breaking down why that matters.
Those who drank a beverage that had flavanol-rich cocoa in it 3 times a day for 6 months were able to walk 46 yards further in a 6-minute walking test compared to those that drank the placebo beverage. And so it was shown that the improvement in their walking ability was a consequence to increased blood flow in their calves and also improved muscle function. So that was a super interesting study. There's another study that was actually done in young healthy males that showed that dark chocolate improved their cycling. So basically those that had dark chocolate were able to cycle 17% farther in the same amount of time than those that had the placebo control, which was white chocolate. And the study also showed that they basically didn't need to consume as much oxygen to basically cycle farther as well.
Black Forest high flavanol cocoa has 1,200 milligrams of flavanols per scoop. It's third-party verified and made in the USA. It's not hippie brand ceremonial cacao. It's not Dutch chocolate with 0 flavanol. This is what Harvard studied and the FDA approved. 1 scoop in your coffee each morning will give you all the benefits. For the next 48 hours, Black Forest are running a buy one, get one free sale. Cocoa prices have been skyrocketing globally, so I wouldn't count on this deal coming back. Visit blackforestsupplements.com/bearing. So let's hear from Ethan. Now, I've got to say, when I watched Ethan's segment on this, it's hard to, like, not get where he's coming from. Like, this is some pretty heinous shit, and you kind of get why he's really mad about it.
Ian has deeply aligned himself with the snark community that is responsible for and celebrated CPS coming to my house to take my children away and sending human skulls to my home. iDubbbz aligns with them, shouts them out, calls them great people. He's browses the subreddit on his live stream. Even in his follow-up to his content cop, he justified it. He says, I think it's good that CPS was called and investigated that because clearly, as someone who's been to Ethan's house and met his children, there's shit all over the place, and his kids are clearly in trouble and would be in better care of be better taken care of in foster care. Following all that, Ian went on his stream and displayed this message.
I will have this just available on screen.
Quick daily reminder that Ethan from H3 is likely a pedophile who has molested his own children.
Yeah, so that's pretty grimy. And yes, iDubbbz is a dragon.
I know, it's not really the right time to laugh, but the fucking dragon. At least he's given up the Merlin talk.
Yeah, that would be really weird, wouldn't it? H3 has molested his own children.
What was that?
That was like the fucking dragon talk. Remember when he used to do the voice?
Yes, of course I remember. But that was something else. That sounded impish.
Oh, was that the imp? Yeah, Anissa was the imp, wasn't she? That's right.
Oh, you're thinking of the cartoon.
Well, I don't know. I'm just doing a fucking gay voice. I don't know.
Yeah, you're thinking of that cartoon someone did of Anissa and iDubbbz.
Yeah, oh, the lazy shell thing. Yeah, I probably am.
Greetings and salutations. I will say, as a woke dragon, I do love Reddit.
The imp has something to say.
Oh.
The imp would like to say, the bigger the dick,
Oh.
the worse it's sex.
I am a dragon.
Anyway, let's get back to the fucking point of this video.
Dragon.
You finished?
Yes.
So that is very, very, very grimy. Ian has associated himself with these fucking morons, these lefty fucking scumbags, who have called CPS and shit, Child Protective Services on Ethan. They've come through the house, interviewed his children. They're sending him like human skulls and shit like that. It's really fucked, and I understand why Ethan's mad.
Yeah, going after the kids, that is fucked up. I would see red.
Now, I know people are like, well, why don't you sue Destiny? Well, Destiny made it immediately. First of all, this is a comment from Destiny, like, made in passing. Ian put it on his screen for 2 hours during his main broadcast. Destiny made it clear that he was not being serious, right? Like, nobody was like, yo, Destiny made this claim that Ethan molested his children. Oh, shit. People knew that when Destiny said it, he was just being a dickhead.
So I'll make this point, right? While I do think this is gay, and I'll explain why, I also think it's a fucking retarded move by Ian.
Okay.
I mean, you know the guy's litigation happy, right? He's got lawsuits coming out of his fucking ears.
Yeah, he loved to sue, that Jew.
Yeah. I mean, why would you... I mean, you've just crossed him. You've just done that content cop. You've just absolutely fucked him over, sided with all his enemies and shit. They're trying to do life ruination gay shit.
Gay ops.
And you just dangle this fucking carrot in front of Lex Luthor. Like, what's the fuck? What are you thinking? Now, just quickly, on the lawsuit with the chicks, we haven't addressed that.
There's something new, isn't there?
Yeah, so Ethan sued Denham's, Casey Tron, and Frogan.
And it was a misogynist act.
So Casey Tron folded and basically just said, take all the money that my viewers donated to me.
The hostage video.
The hostage video, yeah. She just handed all her viewers' money over to Ethan, which was fucking hilarious.
It was hilarious. Her reading out the statement that Ethan had clearly written for her was pure gold.
Frogan stuck her head in the sand and just did nothing, didn't respond. So she lost by default. I think we're still waiting on like judgment for the amount that she owes, kind of thing. But it's not gonna be pretty.
She's really gonna have to ramp up her Venmo.
You know my Venmo, send me that shit.
And Denham's won.
Okay, so one of them won.
One of them won, yeah. And I was saying to you the other day, I actually like that outcome. Because let me be honest for a sec. Let me be brutally honest, right? People are going to say, where's your principles bearing? I don't give a fuck. I was cheering on that lawsuit because I don't like those chicks. But it is dangerous when you've got people suing creators for what is essentially React content. I mean, as much as they said, oh, we're going to fucking steal your audience, we're going to take your market, as much as they didn't comment and did the bare minimum, it is a dangerous precedent to set. So I'm kind of glad that 1 out of 3 didn't get through. We get to laugh at the silly bitches, but also React content is kind of a little bit protected. And I'm also kind of glad it was Denham's that came out on top.
Why, the hot one?
Yeah, because she's like the least idiot. So I think that was a great result. Anyway, let's go.
I mean, this is just fucking on him, right? And Ian is spending his whole day on Twitter retweeting people like Jake Chinatown, who says he wants to take my children by their ankles and slam them into a tree till they're bloody pulp. I said from the beginning that if people want to go after my children, then, you know, the rules of engagement have changed forever. And if somebody you know who's met your children's family said that you molested your children after CPS has been to your house to investigate your house and interviewed your children against your will, I don't see how you can say that I'm not justified.
So I see why he's mad, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as a father, someone says shit like that about your kids, you're gonna fucking see red.
I'm gonna maim a bitch. That's what I'm gonna do.
But here's the thing. iDubbbz has already kind of punished himself enough. I mean, he lives in the fucking Canadian tundra.
He's a dragon in a basement.
Yeah, he lives with Anissa, Yoko Ono. Now, I'm not saying that iDubbbz is John Lennon, but there are parallels.
Yes, he is. If you don't believe me, take a look at the
Yeah, John Lennon wasn't a cuck.
Yeah, so Ian is scraping by on the crumbs of bread tube, right?
He's a dragon.
As a dragon. As a fucking VTube dragon. He's already fucking miserable. And the other thing is, he apologised.
Okay.
Because he got like a cease and desist letter in May, I think, mid-May sometime.
Oh, did he get scared?
Yeah, he got scared and he got on stream and he apologised as Ian, not as the dragon.
Not as the dragon.
Well, maybe that's the problem. Maybe Ethan wants an apology from the dragon.
The Destiny thing about Ethan and his kids, that was one of those where I was like, oh man, like I think I stepped too far out with this one, where it's like, we know the reason that I showed you guys the comment about Ethan and his kids. It's because it's like Destiny's he's a piece of shit, and he has bad intentions, but he's going easy on this guy, not going easy on Denims, Frogan, Casey Tron, Noah, many others, right? You know, after reflecting a little bit more, I'm like, ugh, I do not want to roll around this pig shit, and I also don't want to, it's not within my principles to put that online. Like, I don't want to spread that because it's just negative and it's not true. I don't believe it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to Ethan and Ethan's family for putting that nasty Destiny comment out there. Gross shit shouldn't be spread like that. I need to move on. I need to do other shit.
So he did apologise. I mean, that's kind of an acceptable apology, isn't it?
Yeah, he apologised. He said he wanted to move on. He wanted to move on to dragon shit.
Yeah, now the other thing I was thinking of, and this is really, is that, remember iDubbbz was trying to sell his house?
Yes.
Well, it just so happens that it sold in March, I think.
Wasn't there a conspiracy that maybe Ethan was trying to buy the house?
Well, that's what I was going to say. The only way that I would really jump on Ethan's team, right, is if Ethan was secretly the buyer of the house. Right? And now he's suing to get his fucking money back. In other words, if Ethan is trying to steal iDubbbz' house, that would be fucking funny as. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is Ian actually has something to take now. See, if you sued him like 6 months ago or fucking a year ago, you'd be wasting your time. There'd be nothing to fucking take. Now, a couple of people online have said, well, Ian's broke. He might have had a mortgage. He might not have owned much of the house. Now, I call bullshit. I don't think that's true. Ian used to fucking absolutely slay on YouTube, right? I find it really hard to believe that he didn't have equity in that house. He might not have owned it outright. He might have had a mortgage, but I find it hard to believe that he had no equity.
His girlfriend is Anissa.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, you're talking about someone who's willing to do OnlyFans for coin.
Yeah, that's true.
I was promised a handstand. Oh, I didn't promise it to you, but...
Okay, I take it all back, sue him.
What the fuck was that?
Fuck this, go scorched earth, Ethan.
Did you see iDubbbz' face, though, as Anissa was doing that?
Yeah, even he's like, what the fuck?
That was cringe face. Why am I with this woman? She's ruined my reputation. She's taken away my source of income, and she's made me a fluffer on OnlyFans.
Yeah, and she's turned me against all of my friends.
I'm a dragon, for fuck's sake. I'm a streaming dragon.
So as I said, other people have chimed in on this. Dankula chimed in on this, which I found surprising, because he usually doesn't do drama.
No.
But he summed it up like this.
See all this stuff of everybody just suing everybody, it's fucking gay.
Yeah, I agree. I was chatting with him this morning. I said, I'm surprised you did drama, because he usually doesn't touch drama. But I said, that's good, man. Get in the mud and scalp some motherfuckers. It's good.
Time to get dirty.
PPP chimed in. Here's Ethan talking about it.
The Keynote Boys, who I've shouted out before, I do think they're funny, but he gave this actually this is funny, he gave this very impassioned post about how, although Ian is whatever, yada yada, I stand behind Ian's right to say that Ethan molested his children, because it's free speech. It's not free speech. None of us want to live in a world where rich, petty tyrants like Ethan can police speech and silence criticism. That's saying I molested my children is not criticism.
He's right, it's not criticism. But like I said, I think iDubbbz has already created his own hell. Now, he's broadcast this shit to like fucking, what, 80, 100 people, maybe 200 people? Like, it's not really doing you much tangible damage, is it? Like, if it was CNN or even someone like Philip DeFranco, you know, a big YouTuber, and there was like tangible damage, there was real reputational damage, I think I'd be a lot more sympathetic to Ethan. But it's fucking iDubbbz. He's a dragon in Canada.
Yeah, it's coming out of a mythical creature's mouth, snout, whatever. Now, if it was a bear, you could totally believe that.
If it was a bear, he'd be groveling for forgiveness. So you know Anissa chimed in, because of course she did. She responded to PPP.
Oh, they would have loved that.
And just made the biggest retard of herself.
Awesome. She gave them more cunt tenure.
She says this fat yogurt-faced moron doesn't understand that if Ethan wins, this means him and his buddy could be sued by many creators in the near future. PPP was sticking up for them. You know what I mean? And she just goes in on them. It is fucking retarded. So she gets community noted. The people of Twitter basically says, you're retarded. Then Liana Taylor chimes in. Liana Taylor is Warski's wife.
Is she an internet person?
I think so, yeah. I think she does some streams and stuff. She says, you are a literal whore.
I like her.
And you now look like the man in the relationship. You have made Ian iDubbbz a shell of himself. You are destroying a man's life actively because you are so miserable inside. You cannot fathom the sad reality you destroyed a friendship, a bond, a working relationship because of your greed. Figure it out, dude. I think she hit the nail on the head.
Spot on.
Anissa has fucked this man up to the point that he's a dragon VTuber in the Canadian tundra, universally hated by the internet, but especially his old buddies, his good buddies, his buddies he used to do content with, content that fucking slays.
Yeah, everyone can see it. The only one who can't see it is iDubbbz.
Anyway, she gets immediately reported. I mean, here's Anissa saying, oh, free speech, you're gonna get fucking censored. Immediately reported.
I love it. It's ex-bitch fighting.
I think you and her, this Liana chick, and Brittany Venti, right, should start a monthly show on like Kick or Rumble or somewhere you can't get booted off for like hate speech and call it What a Whore. Where you just go in on YouTube bitches. It'd be so funny. Like claws out, full bitch fight, fuck them, you're a whore.
Are you trying to instigate Mean Girls?
Yes I am. I would watch that show. That would be fucking hilarious. So anyway, that's what's going on in the life of iDubbbz. It's not looking good.
It's never looking good.
No, but I think Ethan should ease up.
He's just got Sue Triggerfinger.
He does, yeah. Like we said, his lawyer is very, very happy. Visit Sugar Tits. She's got a channel.
Yes, I do.
Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.
See ya.
I still don't think I can make a workbench yet. I cannot. I need to get more. Hey, iDubbbz is just destroying his career. I don't know what the hell that guy's doing.
Hey, you're watching my official compilation channel, but if you want to see my newest videos as soon as they're uploaded, check out my main channel, Chat History. Alright, enjoy the video. Horrifying mythical creatures that you've never heard of.
Well, it's nighttime,
Seldom would
so.
you find tales of critters and creatures more terrifying than those from Southeast Asia, places like the diesel of nightmare fuel. First up is the Pontianak, a malevolent spirit with a bone to pick. Specifically yours, all 206 of them. Originating from the likes of Malaysian and Indonesian folklore, the Pontianak is said to be the vengeful spirit of a pregnant woman who either died in childbirth or at the hands of her partner. So imagine that you're taking a midnight Malaysian stroll, slurping down a Malaysian meal of Malaysian soup. Through the aroma of boiling broth and steamy veggies, your nose catches the subtle scent of flowers, your ears, the delicate cry of an infant. It's just then that you spot a figure in the dark, standing beneath a big, beautiful, bountiful banana tree. Gracefully creeping into the moonlight is a young woman, clad in a flowing white dress with silky, long, raven black hair and friggin' sweet honkers. But that's how they get you. Seduction is the Pontianak's weapon of choice, at least for the initial bait. But as long as you're a nice guy, you should have nothing to fear. And not the Reddit definition of a nice guy. Cheaters, beaters, and legend leaguers all face a terrible fate should they cross the path of a Pontianak, so approach at your own risk. If you do find yourself overcome with the manly urge to try to pick up a ghostly gal in the middle of the night, you'll notice a few things as you make your move. For one, that delightful floral scent quickly turns to pure putrescence. Her soft, pale hands now don razor-sharp nails, and her delicate face now bears bloodthirsty fangs. You're in for a rough encounter. The Pontianak has a purely physical attack style, so keeping your distance would have been wise. If you survive the shock of her terrifying appearance, you're gonna wish that you hadn't, as all of your pain receptors will now be the ones screaming. Speaking of which, a Pontianak may choose to let out a deafening wail, capable of rupturing your eardrums. But bleeding ears are the least of your worries, because soon you'll have a bleeding belly. As a symbolic gesture for the child that she was never able to bear, a Pontianak will take her terrifying talons and tear through your trembling tummy, stealing your stomach, looting your liver, and kidnapping your kidneys. Why? because they taste good. But if you don't feel like having your insides being converted to outsides, here's what you can do. First and most obvious, don't approach crying women in the middle of the night. It's a huge red flag. Walk on. That's someone else's problem. Second, take a glance down at her piggies. Legends state that Pontiacs have gross feet, so this may be a warning sign to hightail it out of there. Or she might just have gross feet. As a third option, albeit a bit expensive, is that Pontiacs apparently hate the sound of cannon blasts, so if you're facing peril, have her stare down a barrel. Fourth, final, and most effective if you find yourself about to be shredded to bits, is managing to get behind the spooky spirit and jamming an iron nail into the nape of her neck. This is the Pontiac's factory reset spot, rendering her docile, subdued, and apparently according to some strange versions of the legend, she will become, quote-unquote, the perfect wife, at least until the nail is removed. Then she just gets back to her murderous ways. Now we jump ship from Southeast Asia to the forests of West Africa with the Sosobonsam. The OG jump scarer, this slippery little devil hides in the canopies of the forest of Ghana, waiting for its next victim to wander through the woods. The beings are said to be huge, much larger than an average human, with jaws capable of swallowing a head whole in one gulp. Although oddly proportioned, the Sosobonsam is ape-like in appearance with gangly, dangly arms and legs and a slender torso, often depicted with dark or red-colored fur. Using its iron hook feet to grip a grasp on Ganyan growth, the Sosobonsam lurks in the trees awaiting its prey. Once spotted, the monster will wiggle its fingies in delight with a don't mind if I do attitude like it's about to grab the last hot dog out of the warm Wawa hot dog cabinet. Going in for the kill, the Sosobonsam swings from the tree limbs to snatch and grab any would-be traveler, should they be caught unawares alone in the dead of night. The monster's monstrous arms envelop you in a deadly death hug, crushing your bones and internals. Luckily, this will most likely send you to the Shadow Realm before it ever gets a chance to feed on your remains. If you are more of a cautious individual, the Sosobonsam may attempt to disarm or disorient you with its ability to mimic familiar sounds. Oh, what was that? Once you've been thrown off course, your life expectancy quickly drops to mere seconds as the swinging vampire monkey man makes its move. But if you don't want to end up a monkey man's meal, there are precautions that you can take. For one, never travel alone in the forest at night. It's kind of a takeaway lesson for this legend. Travel with a companion to avoid an untimely demise and to spark good conversation. And I told the guy, no tomato on the sandwich. And what does he do? He puts extra tomatoes on it. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Fuck up. You know, it wasn't even... Additionally, protective charms blessed by your local village priest are said to ward off the creatures as they hate the taste of religion. But if these simple solutions just don't seem possible, don't worry, for another solution is already in the making, and you can thank chocolate. Now, before you embarrassingly offer a bar to the beast, let me explain. You see, Sosobonsams thrive in the trees, so let's just get rid of the trees. Thanks to excessive cocoa farming, Ghana has lost a majority of its primary forest since the 1950s. Sure, the trees are gone, but so is this fictitious freak. Strap on some earmuffs, because this next creature's a real screecher. Slopped out of southern Slavic folklore is the Drekavac, which translates to the Screamer. This myth takes on many forms across several different variations of its story, but for this video, we will go with its infant form. The Drekavac is said to be the restless spirit of an unbaptized child, desperate for salvation. According to legend, the Drekavac takes the form of a gray, emaciated young child. Little limber limbs accompany its frail stature, offset only by its monstrously large dome, which definitely devastated a birth canal upon entry into this world. They are most prevalent around Christmas time, sure to put a damper on anyone's festivities, but they certainly will not go unnoticed. Problem is, one glance at this little fellow will make you go, ugh. Not a thought exists behind its bulging, glassy black eyes. No thought, but death. If it wasn't obvious by its name, the Drekavac is capable of emitting eardrum-rupturing shrieks, able to bring you to your knees in a single squeal. Yeah, like that. Now, the Drekavac itself is not an immediate threat in terms of it wanting to convert you into a fresh marinara. Instead, it serves as a looming omen. It is said that those who find themselves in its shadow are doomed to die a terrible death in the coming days. Whole villages may suffer cruel fates should they spot one nearby. The legend itself is often used as a deterrent for young children, teaching them to not wander too far from home lest they cross paths with the diminutive demon. Strange howls or yells in the night from local wildlife are often attributed to the Drekavac as a way to prove their existence to traumatized children. I mean, some of us were told that a giant anthropomorphic rabbit breaks into our houses once a year to leave us candy offerings in exchange for good behavior. So, is it really that far-fetched? Parents do a lot to make sure that their kids behave, don't they? Honestly, I can't wait to tell Little Chat one day about how a small fairy will break in through his window to steal his dead teeth in exchange for a few bucks. Well, like most critters, the Drekavac can be defeated. The most obvious method is having the child properly baptized, finally putting its soul to rest. So, just have your friendly neighborhood priest join the party and cast holy on its unholy eyes. Well, you know, splash a cup of holy water in its face. Rest in peace. Japanese folklore. Definitely a very creative culture for instilling fear into kids and adults alike. After all, we need to balance the uwu anime girls with something a bit more fearsome. The Teki Teki does just that. Born from tragedy, this ghastly ghoul is the result of a young woman or schoolgirl who had fallen or was pushed onto train tracks and failed to get out of the way in time, causing her to become 50% lighter, but 100% angrier. I prefer the story of it being a malicious push, as simply just falling onto the train tracks is your own fault. Stay behind the yellow line at all times, people. Being a vengeful spirit, or Andrea, the Teki Teki is a violent little vixen, aiming to hunt down the living who wander around deserted locations or train tracks in the middle of the night. Her existence serves solely as a cautionary tale for kids, discouraging any late-night adventures to such places. It's interesting the tales that parents come up with to protect their children. So instead of it being like, "Alright, Dad, I'm going to that old abandoned factory with some friends." The hell you are, that place isn't safe. It's more like, "Alright, Dad, I'm going to that old abandoned factory with some friends." Sure, no problem. Just make sure you don't get murdered by the factory finger. What? Any encounter with a Teki Teki could be your last. While they are just a half-body apparition of a young girl, they're still a force to be reckoned with. You may first become aware of its arrival by the sound of its hands slapping on the cement, which is how it walks, and the origin of its onomatopoeic name. In some tellings of the story, she carries a small scythe as a weapon. Others, she bears razor-sharp nails. If approached, she may ask you a simple question.
Hybrids absolute, how is the surviving going?
In Japanese,
It's
of course.
going alright.
This is a trick question. She ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan. Though, if you see a ghostly gal with her insides spilling out lumbering towards you on her hands, it should be common sense that you 180 the hell out of there. But you'd be wrong. Although she is restricted to just arms for movement, she is noted to be incredibly fast, even able to catch up to cars if necessary. Once she gets a hold of you, she will treat you to a similar fate as her own, using her scythe or nails to crack you open like a football Sunday beer can. Now, according to legend, and unfortunately for you, there's no clear way to defeat her, mainly just heeding the tale's warning to avoid deserted areas and train tracks. However, I'm sure a solid 45-yard field goal attempt could get the job done.
Do I look arrested?
There are people who think they are above the law just because they are wealthy. For instance, this rich couple got high on shrooms, and when the police arrived, they both started to act wildly.
Stop. Stop. She needs to understand what's happening. Walk over here. Walk over.
There's also a girl whose entitled behavior is simply hard to describe.
I'm not under the influence, and tell your sister to go off.
Wasted rich lady who completely destroyed her $300,000 Bentley. But first, let's look at a 24-year-old girl who thinks she has the right to endanger lives and behave recklessly on the road because her father owns the place, or so she claims.
I'll be out with the Tesla in North Bahama Drive.
She ignores the officer and immediately starts driving away.
Why are you running from me? Why are you
What?
Don't get out of it. Stay in the vehicle right now. Both hands. Stay
What?
in the vehicle. 511, she's getting out. Come here. Come here. Stand in front of my patrol vehicle right now. Right now. Ma'am.
Taser.
Ma'am. You need
Taser.
to come over here right now.
Taser.
Because I'm telling you to.
Taser.
You're running from me.
Taser.
Yeah. Now you are.
Taser.
You need to get over here right now.
Oh God, taser. Just taser.
511, she's refusing to comply. Get out.
Taser.
Get out of the vehicle. Get out.
Stop me over. Oh my God, Dad!
And so it begins, but the real escalation is yet to come. The officer had good reason to pull her over, as concerned neighbors reported a female driver recklessly driving a Tesla through the streets. She ignores the officer's commands, flees at 60 miles per hour, and resists in such a way that she's already racked up several charges from the get-go. She mentions that her father owns the island and casually talks to her dad on the phone in front of the officer, but it's already clear that money and her father's influence won't be of much help here.
What are you doing?
Don't resist.
What are you doing? You don't even know. Dad, they're arresting me.
Stop resisting!
Dad!
Get on your
Dad! They have me on the floor! Dad! Dad! I don't know what I did! What am I doing? Why are you doing this?
One detained.
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
Okay, let go of your phone.
No, I'm not. My dad is on the phone. And he's...
Hey! You are not gonna kick me. This is not okay. Get your legs over here and turn over. She's actively fighting still. No, this is what happens when you flee and then you kick me.
I didn't flee and I didn't kick you.
So those lights and sirens mean nothing? We're just out
Can
here.
I call my father?
No.
He owns the island.
511, you can
Okay.
release the air.
Call my father.
I'm not calling your dad.
Then what do you
How
do?
old are you? How old are you?
I'm 24.
Okay, 24, we don't need to call your dad.
Yeah, you're right. And you're not gonna take me in either.
As a 24-year-old, she's legally considered an adult and is responsible for her actions. The police are under no obligation to contact her father in such a situation. It seems the suspect isn't fully aware what is going on if she thinks her father, regardless of who he is, can rescue her from this chaos. The officers had to use force to subdue her as she actively resisted arrest. Next, she will reveal some details from her past that will better explain the situation.
You could have killed someone.
Yes.
Yeah, I could have killed you too, but you're alive, right?
Okay.
Can you notify?
No, I'm not notifying anyone. You want to put her in the back?
Why?
Can you pass search her?
Wait, what's
Yeah.
happening?
I have a...
Why?
We should stick one, I can smell it.
Yeah, I know.
What did I do?
You ran from me.
You ran. That's one. Two.
Ran from what?
Him. How much? You know what? I'm not even gonna ask you any questions.
Yeah, what did I do? Bro.
Okay, for the third time, you fled.
I dropped my flash. Can you get my flash?
He ran too.
Do you have anything on you that's
No,
gonna
I
help
don't.
Well, don't act all shocked.
No, I just I'm shocked because this never happened.
Okay, well.
Please call my dad.
No, listen.
No, I need my dad here before you do anything.
Oh, yeah, workbench. All right.
I don't care.
I was an adrenaline rush.
I didn't do anything wrong, and I need my dad
and then she runs back in the vehicle, rolls up the window, and then takes off flying even faster. Like,
Yeah, 'cause who are you?
He's the police.
I didn't know that.
I know that's where I live.
You are not doing this.
You're lucky they tased you, I swear.
You need to talk to my father and stop holding me like this.
You're 24 years old. You're an adult. You
I don't
need your
care. This is his property.
It's not. We're on the.
Why are you doing this?
Ma'am.
I'm not under the
Ma'am,
influence.
listen.
Dude, my
Do you?
3 houses.
I suspect that you are under the
I was
influence.
just in one of them.
Do you want to participate in standard field sobriety exercises to dispel my belief that you're driving under the influence?
Yes, of course I'm not. I'm not driving.
Ma'am, you need to listen to
I've been clean for 3 years. I've been clean for 3 years. What's happening to me?
She claims to have been sober for 3 years, which implies she had issues with alcohol in the past. The officer tries to determine if she is currently under the influence, but she refuses to undergo tests. While refusal to take a sobriety test does not automatically prove guilt, in some jurisdictions, the refusal can be used as evidence against the individual in court, particularly in DUI cases. For now, this young woman could face multiple charges: reckless driving, fleeing from law enforcement, resisting arrest, and possible DUI. And since she would not calm down, the officers will eventually allow her to talk to her father.
Are you gonna do field sobriety exercises, ma'am? I need to know if you're.
I need you to bring my dad on.
No, that's not gonna happen. Ma'am, I need to know. Are you gonna do field sobriety exercises or not? Who is this guy?
That's my dad.
Okay, well he's gotta go.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dad!
Ma'am.
Dad! Dad!
She's gonna do the daddy.
I have no sympathy for you right now. You could have easily killed someone. There are little kids that live in this neighborhood. The fact that you would run from me and
Walk up on him like that again.
You do not know how lucky you are you didn't kill someone.
That's how you got your
Alright, I don't know if we can do it, but she's resisting.
Yeah. Dad! Can I talk to him?
Nope.
No,
We're going in the car.
Dad, how's it going?
Get in.
I don't know.
Get in! Get in!
Got to short 2 mechanical parts.
Dad!
We got resisting with violence.
You want to let him put back up? You have a hobble?
You didn't tell me why you're bringing me in the car.
Because you were going to jail.
Why? Why are they?
Copy 7275 line.
And you were speeding.
Why am I going to jail?
Because you were speeding, you had stop signs.
Where was I speeding?
Well, that's probably you don't know.
Well, do they know?
No, we don't have.
Dad! They didn't read me my rights, so they don't tell me why I'm going in.
We told you.
If you resist, you're gonna catch more charges.
I'm not resisting. I'm right here.
Get in the car then, right now.
Dad! What is happening?
We told you.
No, but like
Oh, this is awesome.
Where am I going? Why?
Oh, come on. It ain't over until the rich girl screams daddy.
Yeah. That's still not tight enough?
No. Tight. It hurts.
Yeah, you've already slipped out of it once.
I can't, but I can't.
I have zero sympathy for you right now. You could have killed yourself, others, and me.
But I didn't.
After being arrested, her blood alcohol concentration was measured at the police station and found to be 0.268, which is more than 3 times the legal
Holy
limit.
shit!
Thus,
How
was
is she not
extremely
unconscious?
intoxicated while recklessly driving the Tesla. She has been charged with everything previously mentioned: DUI, reckless driving, fleeing and eluding, as well as resisting with violence.
Hi. Do you have a driver's license on you? And insurance?
I want to call my dad first.
Okay, well, I still need your driver's license and insurance, okay?
grandma died. I'm sorry. That's what happened.
Today?
Today. And I was going to this funeral cemetery. And that's when I got into the car accident.
So you were coming today to pay your respects? Or just to visit her today?
I was coming here to pay my respects for my grandma.
I understand that. So, what happened here? How did this occur? How did the accident?
Because she was too close to my end. And when I went into there and I told her, you know what, tell her, stop.
Well, she's just taking her whatever photo she needs for the insurance. How much did you have to drink today?
I didn't have anything.
Yes, I
Oh,
Hey.
driver's license.
Have anything.
None. I did not. I have 2 different breathalyzer things in my car.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do.
Where are they?
Did you not see me point to them?
Well, those are garage door openers. All right, Christina, I need your phone number for the report.
Yeah, and I'm gonna talk to my in private.
That's not a phone.
From the very first contact, Christina showed signs that she has consumed something, which led to her causing an accident. Police were called because she crashed into another woman's car, but as you saw, she was not even aware of it and instead blamed the other woman for the accident. She mistook a paper wipe for a mobile phone, garage openers for breathalyzers, and like the previous girl, wanted to call her dad before having any discussion. However, this is just the beginning.
Don't read. You know what? Never read me as a dumb.
I'm not.
Yeah, you did. You said, Christina, I'm trying to. Guess what? You're a lot ahead above you.
It's good.
Yeah. So, shut the hell away from me. Get away from me.
All right, Christina, can you step out of the car for me?
Yeah.
Right back here for me, okay? You said no medication, nothing?
I'm on medication.
Alright. Here's what I'm asking is, the way you're speaking and the way you're acting, you're holding up a hand wipe as a phone. Right? You're telling me that you were trying to turn in here, but you went straight across this way and slammed into her.
Scared about what was happening.
So how much did you have to drink today?
Today, I didn't drink anything. All I was here for my babshas.
Right.
Gravy.
Right.
And that's
Gravy.
all it was.
Oh my god.
I didn't take anything today, officer.
Why don't you stay? Tip of my pen, alright? Using your eyes and
How many times are you gonna do it till you know I can do it?
Sometimes, unfortunately, I gotta do all the stuff.
And then you're gonna run into my dad, and he's gonna tell you. I think you're the retarded one. Oh, I can't believe my father.
That's what I want you to do, alright?
Oh, what you want me to stand on my hand with one toe?
Come on.
4, 5.
Gotta go back.
You know what? I want my attorney.
Okay, stop.
Present.
Stop.
I want.
Stop.
No, you
All right,
do
turn
not
around.
touch
Christina, turn around. Put your hands behind your back.
Do not touch.
Turn around. Put your hands behind your back.
I want to talk
Turn
to
around.
my
Put your hands
attorney.
behind your back. You can call them when we get to the station. Turn around, please. Okay?
You are
Turn
hurting
around.
me.
Turn around. All right. You're under arrest for DUI. Christina, is your phone in your purse? Or is it in the car? I don't want to leave it behind.
How would I know?
This is your stuff.
Oh, my under arrest.
This is your phone.
Because it's your stuff.
That would be my phone.
Perfect. Alrighty.
How am I under?
This childish behavior is hard to explain even when it involves a person who is not sober or is under the influence of something. Christina persistently invokes her father, although nobody can save her from this situation. She was arrested for DUI and will be taken to the station, and the police officer is now questioning the injured party who claims Christina saw her and still crashed into her at full speed. This is why routine traffic stops are important. They help to locate dangerous drivers before they endanger the lives of others. Now let's see what Christina had to say at the police station.
And don't touch my purse like that, unless you want to pay for it.
You mean putting it down?
The way you are holding it.
By the handles?
Do you want to purchase that purse yourself?
Not my style, but
I want to talk to my father first. How about that? Okay? I want to talk to my dad. It's his mom who is getting buried today. Sorry. How do you not have a goddamn heart? No, you don't. No, you don't.
okay.
Because of what was going on. I'm not under the influence, you dumb
Okay.
I literally cannot hear you.
Okay, well I already
Blah, 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 blah. No, blah, 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 blah. Can I have my expensive purse back? And then you're gonna say that
Christina, you have to wear this up.
give me my goddamn phone now.
You just sit down, please.
No, give me my phone now. Dad. I got arrested coming to your mother's funeral. Okay? Yeah. So you tell your sister that she is not part of my family. They said that I'm under the influence. I'm at the Niles police station. Come and get me now. And tell your sister to go off. I don't ever want to talk to your sister ever again. I don't care.
Following this bizarre arrest, Christina was charged with DUI alcohol, failing to reduce speed to avoid an accident, and improper lane usage. She was released on an I bond, which allows a person who has been arrested to be released from custody without the need to pay bail. This next case is totally different from the others. The police received a domestic dispute report in which a female reported that a man was waving a weapon. When they arrived at the location, they had quite a story to hear.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, come on in.
You guys called?
My name is Effie, E-F-F-I-E.
Okay. Same last name?
No.
Okay.
We never actually got married.
That's okay. Okay.
We lived in Australia.
And then what
We
is
lived
your...
in Singapore.
What's your husband's date of birth?
He's July 27th, 1972.
Okay, cool.
He is a Leo. They freaked out because we did the mushrooms. We told
They didn't freak out about mushrooms. They freaked out about him pulling out a gun.
He didn't pull out a gun.
Okay, well, we're gonna
That's okay. Yeah, it's my house.
Okay. Come on, let's go.
Let's go.
You can start walking.
No, it's right down the street.
Alright, we have other things to do, so we're gonna drive, okay?
Mechanical parts. I need mechanical parts.
No, I'm here with my husband. I will not be alone.
Less words are better.
Oh,
Alright, how do I help you, sir? All we're gonna do is we're gonna walk around our cars and talk alone. That's okay. Hey, sir, will you go back home?
That's our neighbor.
Listen.
No, I can't. Go back. Back off.
Listen. You're going to be under arrest. Effie. Listen.
You just arrest people for, you're in my house, in my face.
I conducted an investigation.
For what? My husband did nothing. This is my house. No, just because you're a cop, you can't. No, you're in my house, you're in my house. Listen, I didn't call you. This is my house. I never called you. Get off my house. No. You just pushed me.
Yes, I did.
You're a policeman that pushed me in my house. You better get off her. No, dare touch me. Don't you dare touch me. No.
Put your hand behind your back.
No, I'm not. No. Get off. Andrew. Get off me.
Waving a gun around, especially while under the influence of drugs, is a serious offense and can be charged as brandishing a weapon, reckless endangerment, or other related firearms violations. The wife's refusal to allow the officers to speak to them separately and her aggressive behavior is simply wrong because separate interviews are a standard procedure in domestic incidents or situations involving potential violence. While individuals have the right to ask officers to leave their property, this does not apply if the officers have a lawful reason to be there, responding to a call about a potentially dangerous situation.
You're a sheriff? Why would you do this? Why would you ever harm a woman in her house? Why would you do that? This is my house. I didn't do anything. Why would you do that? Get off me! Get off me! He has no right to be in my house. Come on. Take it off me now. It goes against every single right as a human. Get off my house. Take it off me now. Now! Why would you do that?
Please, thank you.
Why would you do that? I'm in my house. You guys are... No, I'm not leaving my house.
That's it. You good?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm good. And then she did this roll move. And I'm not going to punch her in the face.
Effie is arrested and waiting in the police vehicle, but let's take a look at what was happening with Andrew during her arrest.
Hey, walk over here. Walk over here.
So I walk over here. You and I
I have
three minutes that we are both people here.
I have no issues with you. Walk over here.
Come on, man. Come on.
Look, I'm aware. You can relax. Put your hands down. Walk over here. We're not gonna walk over here. I just need to have a conversation with you. Stop. You need to understand what's happening. Walk over here. Walk over here. You good? Walk over here. Walk over here. Alright, stand at the front of this car. Stand at the front of this car. What happened between you and your wife tonight?
Is that a question? You're not asking a question.
What happened between you and your wife tonight?
I'm asking you. You make it sound like it's a question.
It was a question. I asked you a question.
We're all good, bro.
Okay. So, you guys had an argument tonight in front of your friends that are neighbors, correct?
No. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Alright. Did you pull out a gun tonight?
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Non-cooperation from both parties, especially in domestic cases, is not uncommon. Victims may sometimes protect the perpetrator for various reasons, including fear, emotional attachment, or financial dependence. For an arrest to be made, there needs to be probable cause. In this case, if both parties deny the incident and there are no other witnesses or evidence, like physical injuries, weapon recovery, the police may not have sufficient grounds for an arrest.
He's not cooperative. He's also very high. Also.
Yeah, it's the shrooms.
So, I was like, hey, did you guys get into an argument today? He was like, that's not even a question. It is, did you guys get into an argument? I don't know. pull out a gun? You tell me.
No.
So, we're there. Alright, you can get out. Alright, sir. We can walk back over here.
Tell me what's going on,
Yep,
huh?
absolutely. We can walk back over here. Put your hands down. Alright, we were over here to investigate a crime. Okay? But you're not giving us a lot of information.
You're not giving me a lot of information.
You got into an argument with your wife.
Okay.
Allegedly, you pulled out a gun. Doubtful. That's what the investigation is for.
Okay.
Okay?
So look, tell me what you think's going on. Let's cut to the chase, bro.
Okay.
Morning. I got a hangover, so just keep it down.
And then you walked away and came back with a gun.
Selling to even a dumbass like
Things that
you.
would never happen.
Okay.
All right. Look, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate your time for coming out here and scaring it out of my entire neighborhood. For dude, it never happened.
Okay. Well.
No.
I'll let you know.
No.
Your wife is being arrested. So
Fine.
she's going to jail.
Why
Fine.
is she being arrested?
For battered on a law.
Fine. I don't care.
Because you came into my house and then you took her down. Let's be honest about what happened. You, sir, are a shameful bastard. Yeah.
Have a good night.
Give me a card. Give me a card. Give me everything. She stood up for her family, and you took her down. You're a shame. That's what happened. Nothing happened except you're a...
A sale is a sale, even if it is to a scumbag like you.
That's what happened.
Effie got charged with resisting arrest and battery on an officer.
How are you doing?
Who's the driver of this car? You are. Okay. So, do you need fire rescue? You got them coming. You alright? Okay. Making sure.
I mean, I just want
You wanted what?
no rescue.
Do you have any passengers in the car?
No.
No, just you? You're the only person in the car? Alright. Just hang out over here. Alright? Airbags? Airbag deployment?
Sorry?
Did your airbags deploy? Your airbags, did they deploy?
Yes, they did. Yeah, I cannot get to her.
That's fine. You saw her come out of the vehicle from the driver's seat?
Yes, we were standing here. Yeah, we were checking on her, making sure she was okay, and then she was able to get out. And she opened the door herself and got out.
Sit in the back of your car.
What do you need?
Just sit at the back of your car.
Okay, what else?
Your driver's license, insurance, and registration, but I'll come and get that from you in a minute. That's what I'm saying, hang out at the back of your car. I'm sure you and I already both know that. That's fine. Just sit in the back of your car for me. Just sit in your trunk. Okay?
Fine.
Please sit at your trunk. Okay? And you called immediately, right?
I did. Well, once we got here.
I need you to relax and just hang out by your car.
I'm hanging out right now.
All? Okay? Because I don't want to hold you up. I appreciate your time and 100% speed. Yeah.
And I appreciate your time. Too. I want to get home to my daughter. I really do.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Thank you. All right.
Thank you. Can I get home to my daughter,
You
please?
just caused a serious crash. You're not going anywhere.
No, actually, no.
Yes, 100%.
That is definitely not what I did.
All right, so what happened here? What happened from your perspective?
I definitely did not cause that.
All right, so why is your car's front end smashed in with debris all over the place? Your car is leaking oil all everywhere.
That is definitely not my issue.
Oh, it definitely is. Moreover, this is where her problems actually start because of her behavior. The young lady in the video has crashed an expensive Bentley, but it seems she is not overly concerned about it. Or, as the police officer suggested in the conversation with a witness, perhaps she is simply too influenced by something to be aware or worried. We will get the answer in what follows, and now comes the part where she stops being calm and polite and starts displaying an I am above the law attitude.
I am above the law.
Yeah, and I have real witnesses.
It's me. Please.
Okay. Sorry. 10-4 on real witnesses.
Okay, you can't go home right now. You're in the middle of an intersection. Okay, when we get done, we'll get you home, okay?
Absolutely. What do you guys need from me?
License, registration, and insurance.
No problem.
I'm just looking at 10-4 on real witness.
What's that?
10-4 on real witness.
Okay. Alright, you're gonna have to stick around. I need your cooperation. I don't need you to have an attitude. Alright, please.
Absolutely.
It's Officer Khan. He's gonna stand by with you until we get the accident investigation rolling, okay?
Absolutely.
Got it.
Thank you. Next time, you don't do that.
Don't do what?
It's not worth it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Trust me, it's not worth it.
Okay, take your word for it.
I'm telling you right now, it's not worth it. Next time, it's not worth it. Trust me.
You're the registered owner of that car? It's your car, like it's in your name? So yes, no question. Okay.
Don't be a f***er. Just don't be a
Is
f***er.
it female or?
Oh my god, you are. Just don't be a
No, Sheriff, no, you're not going anywhere.
Excuse me?
There's a traffic crash. You're in that, that's your vehicle. You're the driver of it, right? You were just involved in a serious crash.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yes, because you're involved in a serious traffic crash.
What is wrong with you? You're a very weird person.
Okay.
I'm not going anywhere.
No, you're not going anywhere at all. Just keep asking if you can go. If you can go. I'm telling you no.
Okay. You're a very interesting person.
You're not going anywhere. You make one more step towards the road, I'm putting you in cuffs and sitting you down.
Cuffs?
Yes, you will be going into handcuffs.
In cuffs?
Yes, ma'am. If you try and walk into that roadway, we'll be putting you in handcuffs.
Oh.
I'm warning you right now. So step back towards
Cuff.
the light post.
Cuffs.
Get back. I'm taking that car.
You're not going anywhere. That car's not even moving. It's been in a serious traffic crash. The engine is totaled.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not. Do you even realize where you're at right now?
No.
All right, well, that's half the problem.
What's wrong with that car?
Look at it. You just got involved in a serious traffic crash. Your whole engine bay is pressed inward.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yes, it is, because it's not mobile, and you were just involved in a crash.
Okay. What would you like to do?
You're going to stay here until we start the traffic crash investigation.
You have a great night.
You are not going anywhere. All right.
You're an idiot. Get the away from me.
Ma'am, get over here.
I have to use the bathroom. I'm going to use the bathroom.
What?
I need to use the bathroom. I am going to use the bathroom. Get the away from me. I am going to use the bathroom.
You're not going anywhere. Stop.
I am going to use the bathroom.
What?
Get away from me.
Nope.
Why is he being a idiot?
Keep trying to walk off.
You're gonna have to stop right now.
Sir.
Okay, or you're gonna be put in custody. You're gonna have to stop. You understand that? You understand that? No, you're gonna have to. Just listen to me. All right? We're conducting an investigation, and you're gonna have to just have a seat. I told you you're gonna have to wait, right?
Absolutely not.
No, absolutely.
My lawyer is going to be here. You will not put your hands on me.
The officer conducting the investigation quickly suspected a DUI, and the fact that she insists she can drive a totaled car only further confirms the officer's suspicions. She's visibly frustrated by the situation she has caused, but it seems that she is simply bothered by the fact that the officer is exerting authority over her. Her attempts to leave the scene and persistent efforts to obstruct the officers in their investigation can be classified as obstructing justice or obstructing a law enforcement officer. The officers gave her every chance to comply, but enough is enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. There's a way to do it. Stop. There we go.
You guys are going to be so...
Okay, not worried about it.
Nope.
You understand?
Bring your hand back behind your back.
Do you understand how?
So you're gonna have to put your hands behind your back.
No.
Yep.
Why am I?
Yep.
No.
Because you're resisting.
No.
Because all we asked you to do was stand here.
No.
And you started to walk away.
No.
And then you want to resist. Let's go. That's
no.
fine.
You. I do not. No. No. No.
Make sure she
I didn't do anything.
Okay.
I did nothing. I did nothing. I did nothing.
Okay.
I did nothing.
We're trying to help you.
No.
You don't want to listen.
I did nothing. No. I did nothing. I did nothing wrong. You're for days. You did nothing. I did nothing wrong. I've done nothing wrong. I did for nothing. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Yeah, you stop. I'd like to talk about it.
All right, we tried talking to you about it. And the girl's got some heels on. Yeah. Get the spinner. There we go.
Stop it. Enough. What's the reason?
Sit back.
What's the reason? I want to go home. I'm tired.
Oh,
Totally cooperative.
gotta get some coffee.
Not doing anything without talking. Sir, I will be very cooperative. Let's try that, please.
That's not you on the 27th. Food Line parking lot, Traveler's Rest. I don't think so. Look, man. Where's that? I don't know where that is. Yes, you do.
It's not making sense. You're the last person to be in a vehicle you wiped out of a lady that's missing.
That sounds really
28 years ago, this man kidnapped a woman and was sentenced to 30 years in prison for it. 3 decades later, 80-year-old Edna Suttles is spotted picking him up in a parking lot. This would be the last time Edna was ever seen alive. Days later, detectives traced Edna's movement and discovered CCTV footage of the same man driving her car.
She's missing right now.
Yes, Dan, where is Edna?
I don't have a clue.
But that's when police found out Edna wasn't the only victim.
If you tell him to turn that off, I will talk to you a little more freely.
Sometime around 9 a.m. on August 27th, 80-year-old Edna leaves her home in Traveler's Rest to look after a friend. Hours later, 911 dispatchers receive a concerning call.
Greenville County 911, what's your emergency? A sitter was supposed to show up to be with my mom today. Her name is Edna Suttle, and she didn't show up. This is not like her. She shows up like clockwork. So something's wrong.
But this call was only the beginning of a long chain of mysteries. As officers arrived at Edna Suttle's home for a welfare check based on these reports, they received no response. There were no signs of a break-in, and Edna was nowhere to be seen. However, when police asked Edna's son, he pointed out that $50,000 worth of jewelry was missing from the home. More importantly, though, her car was missing too. If the cops could find that, they might be able to figure out where she had gone. This meant that finding Edna's vehicle would be the most instrumental step in this investigation, as it would give a clue about her last known whereabouts. Immediately, a hunt for Edna's car began, and 6 days later, it was found abandoned in the parking lot of a hotel in Traveler's Rest. This was odd, as Edna lived close by and didn't need to stay at a hotel. A check with the staff also revealed that no one under the name of Edna was staying there. So to get to the bottom of this mystery, the cops decided to try and trace back Edna's movement using CCTV cameras starting from her home. At 9:30 a.m., a camera at a nearby pawn shop captures Edna leaving her home and driving towards a local Food Lion grocery store. 9 minutes later, Edna arrives at the store to pick something up. A man approaches the vehicle with 2 bags in his hand and sits alongside Edna, who then drives off back to her home. 4 hours later at 1:43 p.m., Edna's car leaves her home again and arrives at the same Food Lion once more. But this time, the person exiting the driver's seat isn't Edna at all. It's the same old white man she picked up earlier, who immediately moves to his car and parks it next to Edna's. He then drags something out of her car, placing it into his. Initially, it was difficult to identify what the man moved from the Jeep to the Chevrolet, but after a frame-by-frame analysis, it wasn't a question of what was moved, but who. Because in a chilling discovery, officers would realize the footage showed the unmistakable golden hair of Edna Suttles. 4 minutes later, at 1:47 p.m., the man drives Edna's car into the hotel's parking lot and parks it in the same spot that the detectives found the vehicle in. He exits and begins wiping down the door and seats, trying to get rid of any evidence of his presence. By 2:14 p.m., the man returns to his vehicle at Food Lion and drives off, marking the last that was seen of Edna and the man. The most crucial part of this investigation is to now figure out who exactly the man in the video is. But due to the grainy footage and his distance from most cameras, this proved to be difficult, and the investigation seemed like it would come to a standstill. But detectives had an idea. Since the man exited the store with bags in his hand, a purchase was made, and this realization would be the most crucial breakthrough in the case. Immediately, officers began retrieving footage from inside the store, and when they reviewed it, they came to a harrowing realization. This was Daniel Prince, a man who only 24 years prior to this got put in a federal prison for kidnapping. 24 years prior to this incident, in 1997, Daniel was responsible for the kidnapping of a woman in Michigan. He had her tied up, shackled her hands, and it was by sheer luck that she managed to free herself before escaping. Even though he was sentenced to a maximum of 30 years for this crime, he was released by 2009 on parole. But the worst was yet to come. Daniel began working as a handyman for predominantly elderly single ladies, a demographic that not only matched his previous victim, but also that of Edna's. For officers, the realization now begins to settle in. They have a kidnapper on the run, and there might be a chance that he has kept Edna alive. Not knowing where she is, they had to act fast before this glimmer of hope dimmed. Even with this disturbing past, detectives didn't have enough evidence to press strong charges for kidnapping or murder. However, they had established probable cause for grand larceny involving Edna's Jeep. A warrant to arrest Prince and search his property was granted, and officers were quickly dispatched to Prince's residence to take him into custody.
Totally cooperating. Just relax. Not doing anything. All right, oh my God. Stand up on your feet. Stay right there. Yeah. Sir, I will be very cooperative.
Despite the number of heavily armed officers that just descended on Prince's property, he remained noticeably calm and composed, as if he had a plan to escape this predicament. The following footage was analyzed by our in-house criminal research specialist and retired detective to shed some light on key techniques and strategies used during the questioning. When he is brought into the interrogation room, the detectives start with a relaxed, friendly conversation, a tactic used to put suspects at ease. They don't want him to know they've caught him on camera just yet.
I do a lot of home remodeling, home repairs. I really have a lot of time.
Why Boston, North Carolina, come all the way down from, say, Michigan or Wisconsin?
Okay, here, this is really, I'm originally from the east side of the state of Michigan, but I was in prison. I was locked up for a kidnapping charge. Okay. And I got 13 and a half years for that.
Oh, wow.
I did 1.5 years for a false statement on a vehicle title. You know, when they're going to make something to hold you up. So the false statement, that's all that was. The kidnapping, I was doing some bad shit that I shouldn't have been doing, but I shouldn't have gotten kidnapping, but I was doing some bad shit.
What kind of shit? What should have you gotten?
I really don't want to say,
Just bullshitting.
Nothing when you're talking to two police detectives in a room, it's just bullshit. Okay, I've been through the system enough to know that. Yeah. All I'm going to say about that is, I did my time, I made my first parole, and I haven't been in trouble since.
Hey, and that's great to know. You know, a lot of people, especially what you've been through, they're right back to it.
Just because he's a convicted criminal doesn't mean he's involved in Edna's disappearance, but the evidence the detectives have paints a different picture altogether from the hard-working, reformed criminal he claimed to be.
I told you that August 27th, 2021.
What day of the week was that?
It was Friday.
Okay.
Okay, so specifically the 27th.
Mm-hmm.
What, 2 weeks ago? Do you remember where you were at?
No, specifically.
Where do you think you were at?
I've been going all over the place. I've been back and forth to Charlotte. I've been down to South Carolina.
Like, where's the jobs in South Carolina taking you?
Actually, I was down Traveler's Rest, but I don't know if it was Friday or Thursday. I know I'd been there earlier that week.
But you don't remember which day specifically?
No, it was either Thursday or Friday.
What kind of job were you working on?
I wasn't.
You wasn't?
I wasn't. This lady had talked to me several times. I've been down to her house 2 or 3 times. We kind of got to be friends. This woman has so many damn problems, mostly her daughter. She was down there. She said she needed to have money for her daughter because her daughter was in jail. Then she was hiring a private investigator.
God damn!
Because we got to be pretty good friends about stuff like that.
How'd you meet her initially?
Years ago, and she given me her name or number or her my name.
Here, the detectives are analyzing his behavior and allowing Prince to dig a hole for himself that he's going to struggle to escape.
Where's this green chick coming from?
He's going to try and deny his guilt, even when the evidence speaks for itself.
Food line, August 27th, 2021, 9:23.
Okay.
22 seconds. Ring a bell?
Yeah.
So what are you doing here?
She wanted me to look at some stuff at her house. Okay. And she picked me up food line because she wanted me with her when she was gonna go meet somebody for private investigator.
Okay. Tell us about that.
She wanted me to meet her down there. She was nervous because she says, I'm not sure I trust this guy. And she knows I've been in the military. And she said, will you meet me? She wanted me to see if this guy was going to meet her where he was supposed to meet her.
Do you know where?
There was a hotel lobby that he finally said, meet me at the hotel.
Okay.
She says, drive up there and see if he's there. And I drove up there, and things are starting to sound really scary to me.
This is a common deflective behavior. Prince is not only trying to deflect suspicion away from himself, he's trying to point suspicion directly at someone else. In this case, the private investigator. According to Prince, Edna wanted to meet the private investigator the day before she was reported missing, even though she didn't feel safe meeting him alone. Luckily, detectives have seen the whole thing on camera, and it completely contradicts everything Prince is saying.
What were you driving? I was driving a blue car.
Your wife's car or your car? My wife's car. So that's you all coming out 25, you and her together?
It could be.
Okay, because that's her car. That's about 1345. 27.
Okay.
So you're with her there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not saying yeah. I'm just saying that could be her.
Yeah, here's a different angle. I mean, we've watched this car. Right?
Okay.
Here's y'all in the hotel parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, look. There's y'all backing in.
Yeah.
And a couple of different copies of it. Backing in.
Yeah.
Oh, look. You get out. Nobody else gets out.
I told you that.
You're walking around the car.
Yeah.
You wipe the entire car down.
Because I was worried.
You were worried. There's you walking across the parking lot in front of Little Caesars.
Mm-hmm.
And there's you getting back into your car and driving away.
Oh, she's with me.
Look, man, you are a good dude. I honestly do believe that you screwed up years and years ago.
Prince seems visibly stunned by the amount of photographic evidence the detective is showing him, and even though it can't be refuted, Prince is going to try and lie his way out of it. But that's not the only evidence detectives manage to find along the way, as there's mud on the wheels of Prince's car, leading detectives to believe he drove off-road to either kill Edna or to dump her body. And this is when we arrive at the pivotal moment where Prince's story starts to fall apart.
You're not a bad guy. Right? Nobody is saying that you're some evil, twisted dude. Okay? We need to know where it is. We've processed the car. We found the dirt. Where did you go off-road?
I never went.
Where did you leave?
Oh, I can tell you exactly where she and I had gone off-road, please. When we were going from 25, there was a truck with a trailer and another vehicle there that had a for sale sign on it. And it looked like an older truck. And I knew the word truck. And I went ahead and I closed him and with her. And then
Even in the face of such overwhelming evidence, Prince still denies any wrongdoing and even tries to take control of the situation. The detectives have him cornered, and he's quickly starting to struggle to maintain his
Where's right now? Her family is desperately looking for her.
she's missing right now.
Yes, Dan, where is it?
I don't have a clue. I dropped her off.
Please listen. You did not drop her. We followed that car the entire day, up and down 25. There's a number of minutes that are accounted for that are not by her house.
Hers.
Dan, stop playing games. You know what?
When I got to yeah, give me a second. Let me answer the questions when they're asked.
Hybrid Absolute Mixamore made a video 30 minutes ago.
For the guy, she said,
Alright, give me a sec here.
and drop her off in my vehicle. So I left her vehicle. I went down to Food Lion, and she was in my vehicle with me. And I dropped her off at home.
It's just there, man.
No, not in her car. Never. My car. I dropped her off in my car.
We did not drop her.
She sat in my car at Food Lion, and I went back and got her.
You did not.
The detectives are beginning to apply more pressure on Prince, knowing everything he's telling them is a lie, but he continues to stay on the defense, even trying to brush off the facts that he might have destroyed potential evidence.
I don't know where it is. No, I don't.
Damn.
Let's go back to why you wiped the car down. What you said.
If
you
you
were
think you're pretty smart now, don't you?
The only thing
Here's your pay,
I
Einstein.
knew I'd been in and out of her car all the time with her. I'm like, there is no way in hell I'm gonna just leave this thing here because she's got somebody that's after her.
Prince tries to deflect suspicion again by suggesting Edna may have been in some kind of danger, but he doesn't realize just how prepared these detectives are.
Name's not important. Let's get one thing straight. You're not worth.
The PI? Yeah. So somebody she hired as a PI. His story's totally different. He's been doing work for her.
Donald Trump is conquering Card
Working with
Island,
me.
the major
You're working
island,
for me.
oil exporter place in Iran. He says the talks took too long. We're just gonna start conquering things until until morale improves. The bombing will continue until morale improves. All right, 10 Ayatollahs later, we'll see how y'all want to make peace. Foreign governments are still trying to psyop the American people by paying off influencers to be complete morons that absolutely get obliterated once their actual opinions enter the marketplace of ideas. Black people are rioting all over the United States of America because they are incredibly furious to kill white people. Unbelievable. The UK is having the opposite problem. Patriots are rising up, conquering their country back, taking it back from the savages. And to anyone that says there's violence, I don't think there is, mate. More stuff to lock in, boys and girls. We got an insane deep dive on all of the things. Definitely subscribe every day. Another deep dive. YouTube has been stifling me a lot lately, and it probably has nothing to do with the fact that I'm a little bit racist. So once again, please subscribe. It's very appreciated. Lock in, boys and girls. Insane stuff. The updates are rolling in, and it's almost exactly what I predicted. U.S. Army paratroopers conduct small arms training during a live fire exercise in the Middle East. Why would paratroopers need training unless they will be descending from their jets? Do you think the paratroopers will be on the ground soon? That is the question everyone wants to know, yes. And moving on, we got lots to talk about. As always, I need to show you the details.
Alright, I'm actually going to log out.
Which are always correct opinions. It's not my problem that I'm so accurate. The Donald posted this on Truth Social.
Scenario 1, or Pericles 1, to use his code name, sir.
What is the virtue of a proportional response?
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry?
What is the virtue of a proportional response?
Uh-oh.
Good.
What does that mean?
They get an airplane,
Alright.
so we hit a transmitter, right? That's
I'll be back on later.
Sir, in the case of
You guys have a good afternoon.
transmitters.
That's roughly it, yes, sir.
This is what we do. I mean, this